Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Disruption Podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Noah the Baghdaddy.
It's Chief Olasoji in the building, baby.
It's your girl Moeezy.
He's a prince.
Hey, why you laughing so
much? What are you doing it for?
He's still going with the Baghdaddy.
Yeah. Yeah, I've noticed my emojis that I drop on everyone's post
the
now.
Bag
The money bags.
I was going to ask you today, why do you do that?
Who we
That's my
got
thing now.
in the building with us there right now?
Yeah,
man?
we're joined by a special guest today.
Herve Levine.
Oof!
Hey.
Wait! You might need to run that back for us.
Hey.
How did you say that just then?
Herve Levine.
Herve Levine.
Yeah, so it's a French name.
Yeah.
Herve.
Herve.
I'm glad we didn't let this guy
Imagine Carlos introed us.
So are you French?
No, I speak French. So I'm from Congo.
Oh.
Yeah,
guessed
we
it.
speak
Yes.
French.
You're trying to guess where you were from.
The whole time.
Oh, you're placing bets or something, man?
Nah, I'm just trying to
Something
figure
like
out.
that.
Yeah.
Oh man, so you're from Congo, man?
I'm from Congo.
Yeah.
Born
where you
and
grew up?
raised.
Full Congolese or?
Full Congolese, but on my mom's side, East African.
Yeah.
Like Ethiopian.
Yeah. Dope, man. Dope.
Congolese.
Congolese.
Man,
What?
I don't believe it.
Where did you think I was from, man?
Oh, that's a good question. Oh.
Hey.
What did you say before?
What did I say? I said definitely not Cameroonian.
Right. I mean, that's pretty close, right?
Yeah.
Could have gone
That's
with a
the
Cote
start?
d'Ivoire or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that
the
was
one that
what
came
I'm
That's a
trying to
safe
say.
I
guess.
said that, yeah.
That's a safe guess.
Wow.
Yeah. Could have said Cote d'Ivoire. Yeah. Mine was like, where the heck is that?
Oh,
Damn,
Cote
doesn't know
d'Ivoire.
her own continent.
Geography is...
That's crazy.
Oh, man.
thought you grew up in France.
Nah, I grew up in Congo, but I was there until I was like 2 years old.
Yeah.
Then went to Uganda, then went to Tanzania, you know, so
Wow, you
Yeah.
traveled.
I
What are
traveled
the
quite a-
timelines for that?
like 4 years.
So between 4 years, it was Congo, Uganda, and Tanzania.
Tanzania,
and
yeah.
then
Darwin.
Darwin.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a change.
Northern Territory,
What
quick
a
change.
quick change.
So how
man.
did you learn to speak French?
So in Congo, we speak French. It's actually
Yeah,
the
so that
largest
one-
speaking French country in the world due to the population and
Yeah,
all that.
okay.
So I grew up speaking French. I speak Swahili as well, which is, you know, a native tongue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, man.
Nice.
That's saucy. What was that change from? Now I'm just getting it. I'm just interested. What was the change from, what was the last place? Tanzania.
Right.
And then straight to Darwin. Not even a populated city like Melbourne or a
When
Sydney.
you got to Darwin, you were what, like 6, 7?
6, yeah, exactly 6.
Guess.
The change was the weather. I hated it, to be honest. I was like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What is this place? It's humid.
Yeah.
I didn't think we were coming to this, you know. I thought I was going to go to a more populated place, you know, big city and all that. But, you know, I enjoyed it. The first thing that really surprised me was apple juice, right? I was like, what is this thing? You know, what's this drink?
No way they didn't have that in any other places. Nah, really.
I never knew there was such thing as
dear.
apple juice, you know what I mean? But
What the?
it's one of those weird
To be
things.
fair, apple is probably the least juiceable fruit.
Also, I feel like we have a lot more exotic
Because
stuff
it's not a
in
juicy
Africa.
fruit. Yeah,
Like there's a lot more exotic things that you'd be making into juices
Yeah.
compared to
like an
apple.
orange
Apple,
makes
yeah.
sense. It has
You know,
pulp.
mango nectar or something.
Yeah.
You know, we'll be
No,
having
there's
some
only
nice.
2, orange and mango. What else?
I don't know. There's more.
Yeah,
Hey,
see,
don't do us like this, bro.
Yeah.
We got good stuff. in
Grape
Africa.
juice, I don't know. You know.
Oh man.
That's
So
not one.
apple juice is the one that shook you out. When you got
Yeah,
it.
that was my biggest shock. I was like, I never knew this thing existed, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
But, yeah.
Well, nah, man, we've been excited to get you on. It's
Yeah,
been I think you're one of the guests that's actually like been definitely keen to like, yo, let's make this happen.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
Yeah, because I've been watching your episodes and all that, and it's really interesting. I'm
Yeah.
scrolling on Instagram, I come across your talks and all that, and I'm just like, wow, these are actually decent topics about things that are going on. So I just want to say thank you for having me, you know?
we
an
appreciate
honor.
it. We
For
appreciate
coming
it.
on.
A guest
Yeah,
listener, man.
honestly.
Shout out to that.
Amazing.
On, man.
So, I mean, when did we finally actually meet you in person, man? That was
was
what?
the
Literally the
launch
launch night, yeah? I think the industry night was when we
Yeah.
finally actually like linked in person.
That's definitely true.
Compared to like, I don't know how long it's been like DMs on Instagram or something like that.
For some reason, I thought I met you in person before,
Maybe.
but I'm not too sure.
Nowadays,
know,
my
man.
memory's a
Nowadays,
bit
yeah.
shaky.
A lot of people are getting met.
Yeah,
So to be honest, there might have been something beforehand. as
Maybe.
well.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
today I had a meeting, with these 2 ladies talking business or whatever. I was like, yo, have we met before? She said, nope. I said, well, we just
Awkward.
moved. Yeah, it was awkward. But I promise you, I think we actually met before.
Yeah.
it's
She
about
just doesn't
instinct, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd you find that night, that industry night? Like, because that's,
expo?
I mean, we'll get into it a bit more about your field and things like that, but that's pretty much, you know, a space where you'd be bubbling, where you'd be thriving. How'd you find, that night?
Oh, I found it amazing. The thing that Mel's doing is just unreal because she's bringing people together,
Yeah.
all creatives and all that kind of stuff, and you just get to network with different people,
Yeah.
and you realize you're not alone in this, in this journey of discovering who you are through like a creative medium, whatever it might be, through podcast or photography, whatever it might be. You find out you're not alone, and you can relate, you can share your
100%.
stories and all that kind of stuff. So I really enjoyed it. What about you guys?
Yeah, for us it was dope. I think it was
Yeah.
similar for us. I think we felt like a little bit not outsider, but like we're like, oh, we're the only person doing this type of medium, which is podcasting. But it was cool regardless to link up with a bunch of creators and people that are like from the city trying to do more,
Yep.
trying to get in touch with more people. And I think everyone kind of has that same spirit, which is kind of dope to be around.
That
Amazing.
was actually pretty nice.
Yeah.
I think
Industry night or Expo?
No, we'll talk about industry night.
Industry
yeah.
night, yeah.
Oh, so there, that was two different events.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
just realized that they're even two separate.
felt like the same experience.
you guys
Kind of experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe because for us, our brains were moving 1,000 miles an hour at Expo.
Yeah.
Right.
Compared to industry night, where we're able
Yeah.
to like sit
Yeah,
down and
probably.
chill a bit more, chat to people. You know what I
It
mean?
was
Like,
just for us to be there.
yeah, we were just
Industry
there
night.
compared to
Right,
Expo. Yo,
right.
madness.
Running
Everywhere.
It's different.
You see that though.
Oh yeah,
You see that though.
You got to. You got
see
to.
that.
You can't miss
Last
it.
episode, it's here
Best
now.
artist
Trophies.
What does it say on
Yeah.
that?
Best artist booth, non-apparel. Come on, and sneakers. Disruption Entertainment.
Come on.
Wow. Wow.
Every time I've looked at it, I'm like, they should have started writing the disruption part a bit earlier.
Further on,
just
yeah.
so that you didn't have to cram the entertainment.
Someone didn't know their limits.
All right, I
You know,
see
you didn't
that.
plan ahead.
Yeah.
I looked at it, yeah,
No, every time I look at it, I'm like, I'm not really enjoying the way.
Well, when I ran on stage, that's the first thing I saw.
Oh yeah.
I was
No
like,
way.
someone wrote this wrong.
Were you here on the you were there on the second day?
Yeah, I was there on the
Did you
second
see
day.
when this guy ran?
Ran up for the award.
This guy was
No,
running for
I
his
didn't
life.
see
He
that.
was entertaining the crowd for sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
For sure.
That's what we do.
Amazing. The hype man. Amazing.
But industry night was nice.
Yeah.
Because we walked in there not knowing like 95% of the people, maybe like 98% of the people. And they walked out of there, was like, yo, we got, connects and everything. Because the reception was dust.
Yeah.
Right.
So everyone,
It was.
finished,
reception
man.
was
We had no
dust.
signal.
Yeah. So everyone was like on their notes, just getting, hey, put down the Insta.
Handles and all that, yeah.
And then everyone just put the tags and we were actually building that rapport, that relationship. And then because for ego, it's like, yo, hey man, good to see you again.
That's
It
it.
almost felt like we're best friends.
Yeah.
But Sunday, it actually felt like we're actually best friends.
Everyone was friends.
Wow.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if you came both. Did you go both days? For
Yeah.
you? Oh, you went both days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
you were both.
Because the energy that I got, I was wondering if Marwa noticed this. So the first day we come in, we don't know, what's going on. We haven't met anyone yet, so we're setting up whatever. By the second day, I'm like, good morning, how you going? Hey,
Yeah.
what's up? How you? You sleep well?
Sleep well.
Right.
Chatting to
I walked in, Ray, what's up, bro?
Because you guys adapt pretty fast, That's
Yeah.
what I like. You guys adapt pretty fast to your environment and whoever you're talking to.
That's
Yeah,
true,
that's
man.
It is
true.
true. That is
That
actually
is.
quite true.
Yeah.
It was
But
nice
yeah,
though, yeah.
so, what were you going to
Ah,
say?
you-
Oh, yeah.
No, I was just
Well,
saying,
what's
yeah,
up,
like
what's up?
overall, it was a great experience. I mean, we spoke on it on the previous episode, but just, yeah, like we said, Mel, she's really created something great. And I can't wait to see, what it blossoms into and all the amazing things that are going to come from it. So, yeah.
Is this something that you've been around, like, for majority of, I guess, we should probably even get a bit of timeline for what
Into
you
what
do and
you
things
do,
like
yeah.
that. Yeah, but, while we're here, is this something that you've already been around or been exposed to, these type of events, or being around where there's a lot of people in this space, similar things? Or?
Yeah, I went 4 years ago.
Oh, to Ego as well. Okay, yeah.
4 years ago, it was a different location and
Yeah.
all that. That's when I first met Mel and all that. But yeah.
Aside from Ego, though, is there anything else like this problem? Because someone was asking me as well, like,
Yeah.
when is another
there
thing like
is.
this can happen? I was like, I'm not too sure.
I've been invited to like events from Nike and New Balance and Foot Locker and all that kind of stuff. Similar kind of environment.
You see, we need a.
Yeah,
We need
the guy that says, yeah, and I've been around this stuff.
No, we need
Yeah,
to have
done
comment
that.
because, like, events like this do happen in corporate settings as well, like that. Like, these companies do throw these type of
Yeah.
events. You just never hear
All the
about
time,
it.
yeah.
You just, I think there was a Nike one recently or something like that.
I did
End
see
of
that.
last
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right, you guys are getting there for sure.
So what's your connection between that? How
Yeah,
did
now you can talk to us
get
about
into
you,
the
man.
scene of that. True.
How did I get in there? Like just emails, and sometimes like one of the marketing agents would come up to me and be like, "Yeah, we've been watching you in the office like for a couple months," and I'm like, "Whoa, I didn't know that."
Yeah.
So you never really know who's watching, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know what I
So
mean?
what is it exactly that
Yeah.
you do?
What's the
Like,
office?
how did you get into what you're doing and all that?
I started off by taking my own pictures. So I had like the, what do you call them? The camera stands?
Yeah.
Tripod,
Yeah,
exactly. And then I put my camera on timer and just take my own pictures for fun. This is
Yeah.
back in 2012 when Instagram just started taking off.
Yeah.
And I just did it because, you know, I like fashion. You know, I believe the way you dress is how you get addressed as well, right?
Come on. All right.
Because, you know, that's how my mom raised me. I had to be super clean. In Africa, we actually wore like white plain T-shirts, and I had to keep it clean throughout the day. So it's like grooming myself was a thing that I grew up with. Yeah. But anyways, I enjoyed fashion, so I started taking pictures. And slowly I started getting traction from like local brands asking me if I can take pictures in that stuff, right? And I did that, and gradually just started picking up to like corporate, you know, brands and all that. Yeah.
That's pretty interesting though. Like, especially if you're talking about at the early stages of when Instagram was going on, especially like local brands too. If we're taking it back that far, this wasn't really a thing that people were doing. Or you don't, for one, there weren't that, maybe I just didn't have many people, but I feel like there weren't that many people as there are now on Instagram for sure. Like the comparison will be like quite drastic, I'm sure, for sure, right? And this whole concept of like, I'm sure marketing has existed forever, but the concept of someone else getting like, you know, products or whatever from another company and taking photos, especially on a local level as well, when it's not that major, like that's very, very new and very fresh in that space of time. So like, what did that even look like around then?
What do you mean, like
was it as like right now it's a lot more organized and you know, you have this, there's so many roles now, you know, you have the scouts, you have XYZ. Yeah. I feel like there's just a bunch more roles compared to like. Was
it more like, yo, do you want to take photos of my clothes? Sure. All right, let me just pull up to your house, give you a T-shirt.
Right.
Was it that kind of vibe or?
No, like sometimes the brand would organize for a photographer to be on site as well.
Okay, cool.
And he'd bring out the clothes, but it wasn't as organized. They wouldn't have a creative director, hair and makeup,
those kind of roles,
all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it was just kind of like, just do it on the spot. You've got a photographer, you got your clothes, you got the model. That's enough, you know.
Was that the goal, or when you first started taking photos, was that like, I want these people to know who I am by starting taking photos? Or was that more of like, I'm gonna start taking photos?
It was just a form of self-expression, you know, because I've got like really early memories of like photography when I was like 2-3 years old, and I was just so fascinated by camera, you know, because I spent so much time I learned growing up, and so I observed things around me, and I realized this camera can document what you see, right? And I'm like, whoa, this is an amazing tool. So my mom would always like organize for the photographer to come by like every month, take pictures of us, then develop the pictures and all that. And that's how I started identifying myself through pictures. And so I was just fascinated by, you know, the form of documentation. And so that's what I use social media as, a form of documentation of a creative process, you know? Yeah.
Were these just photos that like, it's not a brand or anything, it's just you and your mom taking pics?
Yeah, it was just normal,
So was it like photos of like you trying to show your fashion?
Yeah. I knew I was very self-conscious in terms of fashion when I was like 2-3 years old. Like even like a jacket, I'm like, I really love the red and black jacket. I need to wear that for like the photo, you know? Yeah, because my mom was very fashion oriented. She was like, you have to dress clean, you have to dress formal, you know?
Yeah.
She always wanted to present us to the public in that kind of, you know, setting.
And what was that like, 2012? What age were you?
Like 16, I think.
16? So would you get the money to go and buy new clothes so you could take photos?
I did not buy new clothes, man. It was hand-me-downs from my brothers. I've got a big family, you know. So you just mix the outfits, you know.
You spend a lot of time alone. I was gonna say only sibling, or you actually got?
No, I got a bunch of siblings.
He's got a lot.
You not sure?
Yeah.
Next.
I'll just get my siblings' stuff, get something, put it together. You know, outfits you can change it like multiple times. You know,
match is crazy, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting, man. Because for me at that time, fashion was not on my radar at all, and I thought I was drippy.
But then you see photos.
Oh my goodness, man! The jeans were cleaning the floor, fam. I call them Clip Australia clean jeans, bro. That's what they were, man. Because we were sweeping the floor, man. And it was like checkered shirts with a graphic tee on the inside, rocking some Vans as well, but not even like your normal Vans. It would be like red and grey skater Vans as well, man. It was like. This was not what we were thinking about at that time, even. Bro.
But that's still fashion at the end of the day. Whatever you wear, man. Like, have you seen this stuff on the runways?
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
It's some crazy.
But that's something I've always thought, right? I'm like, clearly they're not putting these out for people to wear. Yeah, this is just you.
Like,
nobody's wearing it.
Who's wearing a bra with wings on it?
Who's wearing a sleeping bag?
There you go.
It looks good, but like,
someone out there is gonna buy it. And
shout out to New Clothing with the repurposed sleeping bags, though.
Right.
Like she killed it.
That was repurposed.
Yeah, you mean like a whole
bag?
Because I've seen some interesting things in fashion, man. Like we're talking I swear there's some outfits where it's like you only see the head and the shoulders are like literally up here.
Yeah,
I'm
some
like,
crazy
no one's
stuff.
planning on wearing this clearly.
Nah,
Like, this is just to be a
definitely
It's not
design.
wearing to court.
Like, this is not.
I was gonna say when you mentioned 2012, not to sound like
Oh,
a
this is gonna be fun. I know where you're
groupie
going.
or a stalker or anything like that, but did you know that you were widely known, like within? Okay, let's just say because I live down here, down these ends, right?
Right.
When you guys were talking about you met for the first time, we all met for the first time at the industry night. In my head, I was like, I swear, I feel like I've known this guy for years, but we've never met. We've never met before. I feel like this is even the first time we've actually properly spoken. But it's because of those photos that you were taking in 2012. Me and my homegirls, we all knew you. We all
Really?
knew who you were.
Wow.
Yeah, so this isn't the first time I'm seeing you.
I didn't
Or
see these
I feel like
photos.
I've
So
known
this
you.
Wow.
guy's acting like he's forgotten, yeah? I ain't even trying to sound like a fan or
Yeah,
either,
yeah.
yeah? But I'm not gonna lie. At that point in time, bro, I was a bit mad. Because
We all knew you. We all knew of you at least.
Wow.
all the girls were saying
Legit.
this was the guy.
Yeah. You on everyone's phone, everyone's timeline. Like, we
You
knew who
don't
you
remember
were.
or even like
Yeah.
or aware
did,
of this.
Did you know that you had this much of an impact?
The funny thing is I never felt it.
Oh, wow.
I never felt it at all. Like I didn't even know that.
As if.
You know, yeah,
Yeah.
seriously, honestly.
Well, I'm telling you, everyone knew you.
This
Wow.
is
We all
interesting.
knew you.
Nah, because at a point, Carl, I don't know why you can't remember,
I feel like
bro.
you would remember.
Bro, I was
Surely
never
we
on
saw
social media
something.
like
Yeah, you were a weirdo,
Maybe
man.
that's
on
why.
social
I jumped-
media.
I feel like I jumped on Instagram like super late.
Yeah.
Even Facebook days, though.
Yeah,
I feel.
Facebook
Were you
is-
ever?
were you
Yeah,
on
you
Facebook
active
like
on
That's
Facebook?
what I started on
Yeah, so
Facebook
that's
and then
why.
went to Instagram later
What were
on.
you doing on Facebook at that point in time? Actually?
Oh man, jeez. I was actually watching Vines and stuff, and I was like, this is pretty funny.
Yeah.
And towards the end of like, not at year 12, I'd say yeah, around year 12, I started to think, why not just make my own videos as well? You know, my Instagram thing was there since 2012, but I actually took off on like Facebook. I don't really like talking much about this whole social media thing because yeah,
Were you doing the corny content on Facebook? 'Cause
yeah,
around that period,
yeah,
there was a lot of-
yeah.
like the stuff where you like bite your lip and turn to the camera, and that's
That's TikTok days now.
nah, bro. That's what was on
nah,
Facebook. You guys,
I wasn't doing that. You know what I mean?
but like just a step before that, you. Would,
I was doing this like
man.
funny like voiceovers and all that kind of stuff,
that's cool, though.
and I was catching heat for it at school, you know.
Fair enough.
And yeah,
They're
it was,
jealous, trust.
pardon?
I said they're just jealous, bro.
Oh man, it was harsh. I was getting hate paragraphs and stuff, man.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
Shoot.
No, they
Interesting
definitely were
times.
just hating.
why they hating like that, bro?
I don't know. Social media, you can just
Could've been just
say
fun.
whatever you want, right?
So you actually didn't know that people knew you.
I find that interesting. Yeah.
No. Because I'm always the type of person that prefers to create, in solitude. I guess you know what I mean. Yeah.
So in terms
Actually,
of,
sorry. Yeah. Do you have a crew? Like, do you have?
people that you roll with.
Yeah, or like people
That's
that
the
you
people that you roll
regularly
with.
do.
Sounds like he's doing.
Not even like that,
Bad
but
man.
just like, yeah, people that you regularly do your creative stuff
like
with,
collab
or
with,
anything,
yeah.
or is it just you solo?
Usually I do it, but it depends on the time. So sometimes I'm just doing things myself. Like if I'm starting off a new project for my, for my clothing brand or something like that, I'll kind of brainstorm on my own and then slowly kind of branch out and, network and find different people that are interested in the same field.
Makes sense.
And then, yeah.
What you gonna say?
No, I was just going to ask about like what area of fashion is like your area, because you got the classy look, you got that streetwear
Yeah,
look.
we saw the shoes you came in with today, man.
Yeah.
Hey, you know.
Shiny.
Deep in
So
the
what area
11s.
kind of like that's me.
I like activewear and class as well because I think it's the same thing. At the end of the day, it's just clothes. I don't really have one thing that I wear all the time. I'm not too sure about you guys. Like it depends on the event or the occasion. You know what I mean? So it's just a form of for me. It's just a form of expression at the end of the day. Because I even do realism when it comes to painting. And I found that art is just like fashion. It's just wearable art. You're expressing yourself. And that's why I believe everyone is a stylist. When you wake up in the morning and you put on certain things, that's how you want to be addressed during that day. If you go out wearing a corp's uniform, something happens, someone's going to run to you, right? So it's
That's
like,
true.
it's the way you want to be addressed, right? Every morning you dress accordingly to that. Everyone does it. Everybody does it,
Never
unconsciously
thought of it
or
like that.
consciously. Yeah.
Actually, I'm liking this. Because I've heard this on another podcast recently in terms of this whole fashion thing of like everyone can do this, like you can express yourself how you want to do it and wear what you want to wear, just wear it confidently and feel comfortable in it. But for the longest, I feel like peer pressure was strong though.
For what?
In terms of making you cop what you needed, like what you needed to get.
No. 100%, bro.
Like, when did this shift happen? And is it real, or is it just for people who have gone clear and everyone's looking at them and like, you're the fashion guys?
Yeah.
And that's why they can say that. Because for the most part, I feel like everyone else is still like stuck in that thinking of like, oh no, but what are people going to think about this? What are people going to think about that? Because I remember even in primary school, what did I cop? I think what was I late to? Because everyone got it.
Superstars.
Nah, it was something else. I think I was late to...
Supras, wow. I haven't heard of that in ages.
Yeah, bro, that was
what the heck? Yeah,
Nah, I was late to some... I think I was late to Chuck's All-Stars, all black ones, right? So everyone's rocking them in like
Primary
year
school.
6. Yeah, I think it was like year 6 people were rocking it. Yeah, I think it was year 6. Either Chuck's or I'm thinking about volleys right now. I'm not too sure. But I ended up copying it like the year after, right? So I'm like, I need to do it. Everyone was doing it and everyone was wearing it. Let me wear it as well. By the time I've copped it, everyone's moved on.
Now you got to convince your mom.
Bro.
So, turns out we were wrong.
So you're telling me you've never had to try to like play that game, or like you never even felt that pressure catch up, or even like let me do what everyone else is doing? Because I don't know if you all feel the same way, but for the longest I'm like, what's everyone else wearing, man? Like, okay, is this is what's in? This is what's cool right now? I bet. Let me suss that as well.
Oh, you talking about right now?
Nah, not now.
As a kid, I definitely felt that. I think that's also like the stage of life that you're in. That's a very peer pressured life, like stage
At that period of time.
And so it's like, I remember that it was mostly with sneakers actually. It was like,
also shoes.
oh, everyone's wearing these shoes, and then you'd see like, even now, if you see like a group of 14-year-old friends at the mall, they're all wearing the same outfit.
Yeah.
You know, and it's, I think it's just that stage of life, which is, I guess now we're older. No one really is dressing identical when you hang out.
But for me personally, I never really felt like that. I've always gone according to my own pace.
Liberating.
Yeah, it's only according to my own pace, man. At one point, I was wearing this floral skinny jeans at school, you know?
Sheesh.
And it's like, how far can you really push it, right? Yeah.
Wait, were you wearing free dress, or was this like... Was this uniform?
It wasn't uniform. I just decided to pop out to school.
On top of the uniform as well?
Yeah. I used to get in trouble for that. I used to get in trouble for that.
How worth it was that? Like, you just wanted to do it because that was the expression.
I just felt like everyone's wearing the same thing. Today I feel like I want to wear something different. Yeah.
That's fair enough.
I said forget the code of conduct.
Yeah, I got in trouble, but I don't know. Like, I didn't really take it that serious. You know what I mean? I'm like, if I'm going to get in trouble, that's a good reason to go home early, you know? But
I was going to say, it's interesting how you mentioned that because, like, growing up, we had this event that happens once every year, right? Like, all the Africans come together and, the parents doing their thing and, all the young people come together, right? And there's always something in style that particular year, right? So there was the chucks, and then everyone actually go and get chucks, right? And if you don't pull up with chucks, it's like you're the odd one.
What are you doing?
And then I think the following year was like Air Force, and then the following year, years before that was Supras, right? So that pressure definitely does apply, and I felt like, I don't have the money for these things. Bro.
It's like music, right? There's a wave. Do you guys do that? Do you listen to everything everyone's listening to, or do you just like stick to your own kind of vibe?
That's tough.
I do both, but that's because I listen to a lot of music.
Yeah,
right.
It's like I know what the wave is, but I also know that I really enjoy Lauryn Hill.
Right. What do you listen to? What's hot? What
I enjoy it as well. Like genuinely because I enjoy it. Yeah.
Amazing.
If there's something hot but I don't enjoy, I'm not listening.
I do it so I can relate, so I know what's going on.
Yeah, because you're always out of the loop.
Yeah, I'm always out. Because if you don't listen to it, you're definitely out the loop. Just like with fashion, if you're not, wearing the latest shoes, or if you're not wearing the latest jacket or t-shirt, whatever, everyone gonna look at you. Now you're the outcast. Now you're the one who doesn't know how to dress up because you're not dressed. It doesn't have to be the exact same, but similar at least. Let's just say the latest thing is cargo pants and like a top. And if you're not doing that, you're wearing something
Let's just say.
Just add me next time, bro.
Like, so if you're wearing something that's, skinny jeans, everyone's going to be like, what are you doing, mate? Skinny jeans were so 2-3 years ago. Like, get on the wave, type of situation. So I think, for music, fashion, whatever it is, it's definitely just to stay in the loop. I don't know what other reason there would be for you to, do what's hot right now, what's trendy.
Yeah, that's why I always feel like an outcast because I really don't tend to go in the loop multiple times. I usually keep my distance.
With the music one, it's just more of like to suss out what the hype is. Like everyone's listening to this. It's like, example, the Weeknd's album. Everyone's on. It's like, all right, let me go listen to 1 or 2 tracks.
I haven't heard it.
I didn't enjoy it, so I didn't play it again.
You know what I mean? Damn. You didn't enjoy it?
It's like 2 good songs.
All respects to The Weeknd.
I think he's a great artist, just not a good album.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so with that one, it's like, okay, let me go suss this real quick. I'll just play 1 or 2 because I might like it, right? But with fashion, it's a little bit different because you already see it, so you already know if you like it or you don't.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
And fashion moves pretty fast, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's
For
super
sure.
fast. There's like 4 different collections or even more during just 1 year, like the span, you know? So it's like, I feel like it's better to be comfortable in what you're wearing instead of keeping up with what's hot all the time.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, is your bank account going to keep up with that? You know what I mean?
Fashion
That's
comes
another
back
question.
around as well.
It does.
I remember my
Yeah.
parents used to tell me
Recycles.
that when I was a kid.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, like, because I see photos of them when they were young, and I'm like, what are you wearing? Like, all this, like the flare jeans and all that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then
Oh, that's
That's
coming
in
back.
now.
it is
Yeah.
coming back,
Yeah.
right?
Strongly.
It is.
And then like they were like, oh, like just watch, it'll come back around. I was like, all right, yeah. And then a couple years ago, I had those big glasses with the bar crawling.
Oh,
I was
wow.
like, oh shoot, came back around.
It's back.
But
yeah.
think about it. This is why fashion and music are so similar. Music is all about sampling old records, right? So that's how hip hop kind of started by sampling old records, and that's the same thing with fashion. Just creativity in general. You're always inspired by the past or what you think the future is gonna be and all that kind of stuff.
I was gonna say, if you don't follow like hot trends, what influences your fashion style or for like a season or whatever it is?
That's a good question. That's a really good question.
Like, I didn't think about this on the drive here, bro.
No, I really
This wasn't in the
don't.
brief.
Yeah. Movies. I like getting concept from movies. People on the street, just having a walk around, observing, and be like, oh, I really like that. You know what I mean? It's really genuine for me. So, like, trends are good. I don't have anything against them,
Yep.
but I have to genuinely connect with something so that I can, like put it out there or something like that. That's how I usually design. I have to connect genuinely with what I see.
Yep.
Do you watch YouTubers like that do this?
No.
No?
What do you mean by do
Like
this?
YouTube's like, people that actually just into fashion, and
fashion
always just
YouTubers.
putting things, mix and matching here and there.
No, my younger sister actually tried to get me on that. She told me go on TikTok, watch those videos, go on YouTube, but I haven't really, found that thing from watching those kind of videos.
Yeah.
They're doing their own thing. All praise to them for doing that and expressing themselves. But I really don't find, fashion inspiration about just watching fashion, and that's why I find it interesting about talking about fashion, because most of my inspiration doesn't really come from fashion. It
Yeah.
just comes
So
from
fun.
everyday life, spirituality, whatever it might be.
Saying movies and that. What's your favorite movies? What's your favorite genre?
I like The Great Gatsby.
Wee.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a very good movie.
I like The Great Gatsby. What about you guys?
What movies?
Yeah, just one movie.
Think of that one.
Oh, everyone knows mine.
Go ahead, share it.
The
Lads, them
Incredibles.
like some cartoons, bro.
Incredibles, man.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
That's
Wow.
the greatest movie made of all time.
Crazy
man.
fashion
Amazing.
there, bro.
Nah, the fashion's crazy. Latex.
Okay.
Spandex.
We know what this
Wow.
guy's like.
Nah, Incredibles 1 is the greatest movie, fam.
It's such a good movie.
I mean, I got the women's yoga set. It's kind of similar to the spandex, So, guys, check it out.
Oh, man.
It's pretty comfortable too. Yeah.
Oh, you'll say it.
I don't have a favorite movie. I don't believe.
It was boring, bro.
Yeah.
I think Shawshank Redemption's pretty elite.
Wow.
Yeah.
The prison one.
What?
Good
Prison
fashion.
one.
Yeah. Oh, that one's good.
For fashion wise, is that what you're thinking
Nah,
of right now?
I'm just saying for him.
Oh, I know what your favorite movie. I don't know what it is, but I know it's gonna involve Denzel Washington, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's all
Tell
I
me.
know for
Let
sure.
me know. What's the movie?
Obsessed.
Man, you can throw any and I'll go with it. He played Malcolm X really well,
Yeah.
so I'll go with that one.
Oh,
That's
Inside
awesome.
Man, I know you love that.
Oh, Inside Man was elite.
Yeah, you
10
love
out
that
of
movie.
10.
Yeah, see?
Inside Man was a
Sky,
good movie.
man, you love it. On this conversation of the influence and stuff, though, right? How much can things be reinvented, though? Or like, how cyclical can we allow things to continue to be, right? Before it's overplayed, it's just been done. Because I've always wondered how fashion can continue year on, like how you can continue to have runways, how you can continue to have releases and drops and things like that. Because what movie was I watching, man? What's the Cruella? The Disney Plus one, the one about the 101 Dalmatians.
Yep.
Yeah.
Seen
So I
it.
watched that.
Love
You
it.
watched it?
Yeah, of
Good
course.
movie,
I
yeah?
love Disney movies. Yeah.
The Cruella movie was actually real sick. I swear it was like 3 hours long or something like that. Yeah.
Right.
But she was into fashion and all that kind of stuff. And the way she was, like, she ended up becoming like an activist essentially through her drops. and like pretty much sticking it against the man, or like she ended up becoming a villain in the eyes of people through fashion. So she was expressing herself in that kind of way,
Right.
but you could get outfits and things from that. So I'm like, if people aren't drawing it from like where their mind is currently or what's going, like how much can people draw from like what's going on in the world to influence their fashion compared to like just tapping into what's been done already? Because I just wonder, how much can be like can be inspired by, aside from yourself, because you've mentioned you get inspired by like conversations and walking around from people,
Right.
But I just wonder for like the industry as a whole, like
How many times can you just
like
the same thing?
or how many times can like people rock the outlandish or outrageous thing on the runway, but it's not going to be what's released in like the fall drop or something like that, or the winter drop.
Right.
Yeah, like how much more can fashion really pull from, or like
What do you mean, like the inspiration? Where can they get it?
In the industry? Like, what are the sources that you know at least?
For me, I look at fashion like storytelling, right? And everyone always has their own story, and it's authentic to whatever's going on with the next person and stuff like that. So in terms of the industry, personally, I do feel like it's a bit boring what's going on.
I didn't want to say it.
Yeah, man, like it's boring. Like there's no much storytelling. There's just clothes, expensive clothes, and they don't really care much about servicing. Because at the end of the day, the reason why you create a business or whatever is to service the people, right? So you have this outrageous and expensive items, right? And they all play the same purpose. You just like a shirt, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. And there's no storytelling behind it. It's all about classism to show that I'm better than you, in some formal way. And that's what's going on in fashion right now. It's about classism. I'm wearing this because I feel like I'm a lot more superior than you in terms of this and that. There's no really storytelling. So yeah, that's what makes it kind of like, boring.
Isn't that any industry ever though? Like cars. You get a Beamer because you're trying to stunt on. You're not trying to stunt everyone. Like, fair enough, you might just enjoy it, right? But it's like the statement is, oh, he has a Beamer, he got a bit of money. You know, if it's a house, you get a 4-bedroom double story. Everyone knows you got a bit more money than the person 2-bedroom one
next door.
You know,
right?
Like as in, so it's like I get what you're saying, but it's like at the same time, it's like I guess literally everything ever is just about that kind of class status, whatever you want to call it. Yeah,
or it can be, because do we not now think that when people have created the like some of the best material in different areas or regards, it's when it actually is just coming from a place of like expressing this art and like allowing people to like access that kind of thing or enjoy it. Yeah, because when these type of things do get added into it, I feel like for the like majority of people who is not that, the disconnect instantly kind of happens and the art actually isn't enjoyed. Like it is now just a statement kind of thing. Yeah, but for the most things that I feel like are enjoyed, like on a greater scale or leave a bigger impact, it's like when it does kind of like, you're right, like service people in that kind of way. And I feel like that kind of that is true for every industry now as well. Yeah, like, or maybe I don't know, maybe the first like SUV car that was made that was different to like the sports car model or whatever. The designer of that was like, are people going to gravitate to this? But they're like, hey, bro, let me just make a car that a family can fit in.
Yeah, a good example is like what Elon did, right? He started with the Falcon and it was this expensive sports car. Then he realized he needed to create something everyone else can afford. I'm not saying it's extremely affordable, but the Model 3.
Becoming more affordable.
Yeah, the Model 3 and stuff like that. Just so it's more accessible to the public, you know? Just like iPhones as well. Like, the reason why I appreciate iPhones, it's a status symbol in some way if you go to like a third world country or whatever, but you can utilize it to help people and to reach out. There's so much more that comes out of it. But what do you get from wearing a shirt that's $3,000? You know what I mean? What do you get from that? What are you doing in terms of servicing, you know?
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, I think it services the rich though. Like, I can't remember who I heard talking about this. It might have been 2 Chainz or something. But he was saying basically like
Mr. $1 Million Water, bro.
So that the water, I mean the air too.
And
so this is what he was saying. He's like, all right, I think it was him. He's like, if I wear that and I wear the chains with it and whatever, the perception of my brand is expensive. That gets me more income. You know, because now it makes more sense for someone to, you're going to come through flashy like this. We want you to come through our club. We want you to do all this kind of stuff. And so in a way, that $3,000 shirt or $2,000 shirt, whatever, is servicing him. It wouldn't service me though. That's the scary thing. When it gets to people like my level, when I see them buying like the $1,000 Balenciaga shoes or whatever, I'm like, you've just lost $1,000.
Yeah, right.
Like,
But think about it.
like
not
it's nice.
servicing you
It's
in a-
nice and you like it. Fair enough if you wanted to save and get it and all that. But it's like it's not going to service you whatsoever. You're not opening.
But think about it. What you're telling me, he's doing a selfish thing. He's doing something for himself. It's not selfless. You know what I mean? He's doing that for his brand, so people can, view him in a
For me,
certain
I'm like
way.
he's doing it as a business expense.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Compared to if we were
but-
to do that.
Yeah.
How do you know
It's a
what
loss.
business is?
But then you have people like, then you have artists like J. Cole as
Right.
well. They don't have to go
Yeah.
through that. It's what you choose to express.
100%.
And then at the end of the day, that's your
100%.
brand. You don't have to do that as a rapper, right?
Yeah.
There's different ways you can portray yourself. You don't have to buy those expensive things.
Which is what I wonder now. What is the blueprint then? Like, what is the pattern that people can follow? Because it seems like both things
Work.
are true. Both things work.
Yeah.
Where people are like authentically them and do what is comfortable for them without trying to like play keep up. And then you see people saying, yo, that's so dope. They're, they can do X, Y, Z, but they're expressing them in this kind of way. And then you have the other side of like, no, people are like keeping up with the Joneses and they're buying this, buying that, buying this. And you have the same response of people like, yo, that's crazy that they're able to do this. You have a whole TikTok trend of like, yo, what do you do for work? That kind of thing like that. What is the
But
blueprint in this kind
you have
of
to
sense
think
then?
about either do you want to do something short term or longevity. The things that are longevity are things that are of service. Short term are things that are like pretty selfish in terms of like I'm doing this for me and all that kind of stuff. Longevity things are like things of service in terms of like, let me just say clothing. If you're buying things like fast fashion to keep up with the trend, it's a very short thing because it's not going to last over 100 years. But if you're buying a clothing brand that's been here caring about durability and actually having functional clothing,
Sustainable.
it's going to be long term.
Sure.
So they both work, but one is long term and the other one is like short term. Like even with the rappers, I'm pretty sure.
Some of them are short term.
Yeah, they're
That
going to
is
be
very true.
very short term, So and you can tell, you guys know, you can tell like this guy's not going to last for a long time,
That's
because
actually interesting, yeah.
I think it depends, man. Because if you guys want to use the J. Cole example with the 2 Chainz, imagine if 2 Chainz is behaving like J. Cole.
Yeah,
You
it
get- you get
doesn't
what I
suit
mean?
his brand. And then it's also like, it's weird to be like, oh, it's inauthentic if you're wearing the chains and all that stuff. Like, you're doing it for, because like 2 Chainz is literally a dope boy, right? Like, that's literally what he grew up doing. So everyone that he idolized.
he's pretty smart too. He's
looking like
educated, right?
Bro, he had a 4.0 GPA.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm also assuming that it was 2 Chainz that said this. It might have been someone else. Right? But it's like, for him, it's like, yo, all I've wanted to be my whole life is the guy rocking 2 Chainz.
These things,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right? J. Cole, it's like, I was a kid that played basketball. And so it's.
But he did
they're
go
both
through
true to self.
He did go through that phase though. Remember, J.
Yeah,
Cole did
yeah,
go through that
early on,
phase
the
where he
gold
was
chains.
getting the gold chains and all that. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with it at the
Yeah.
end of the day, Expression is expression.
100%. I wonder if it would be confusing if 2 Chainz had 3 chains on.
This guy?
Hey, get out. Right?
To leave.
Yeah, actually too much. Yeah.
That is an interesting thing though. Like it does make you realize like a lot of this does come down to expression and how, like you mentioned before, how you do want to be addressed. Like in your art form, no matter what it is. Yeah, if you are like keeping up with XYZ or you're doing what you like sticking to your original plan, it does now kind of highlight how you want to go about this thing. So for like, let's say for us for the podcast or something like that. I don't know, maybe we, in the very, very beginning, we get some kind of manager who can plug us with whoever or whatever, and we go down a path that's not exactly how we want to do it, and we're, let's say, very PC, and we're, talking about certain things only. Yeah. That clearly now shows how we're trying to do this, and that now comes to the question of, all right, do we want to do our own thing and be able to hold true to that throughout the whole way, or do we want to do what's kind of hot right now, what's going to give us a buzz? So it is interesting, like both do work and both are fair enough for the people. It comes down to like, how do they personally want to express themselves, or like what is your particular plan, or how do you want to like follow this? So you can't actually fault anyone in how they actually want to
you can't
go about these
Pursue
things.
themselves.
Really?
Exactly.
Because sometimes you see some fashion trends. Like I get the whole, express who you are, express how you feel through your fashion, through what you wear. But then sometimes you see some stuff and some things on the runway and you're like, we could do without this for one. I mean, Kanye, there was a period where he did the whole ripped clothes and stuff. Like, what kind of expression are you doing through ripped clothes?
Yeah, there you go.
Are you gonna wear that out though? Are you telling
Wasn't
me?
that like
you're gonna wear that out now?
Point in time, like that's after the drop of
Jesus.
That would have been Yeezus drop around about that time, kind of, or what?
Yeah, but still,
And
like,
if we're going off what we spoke about last episode, that was the, what do you call it?
Aggressive
phase,
phase.
you know?
Yeah, but now you're okay, fair enough, yeah, anger, whatever. But does anger have to be expressed through wearing ripped clothes to the supermarket or wearing ripped clothes to church? Like, it just doesn't make sense. And then
There's
now
a place
you're
for
putting a big ass price tag on it and you're calling that fashion. Like, I don't know. Like, my question is, you know, is there a point where it's like, okay, now we're going too far with it?
It's kind of like art, you know. There's abstract art where people can't really relate to it. Because I went and studied art history and all that. And sometimes we were in class just literally staring at a red dot. Yeah. And you guys hear it all the time, right?
That's the Japanese flag.
Right? And it's like, what is this? You know? And I'm just like, it's a dot. Like, what else? Yeah, what else is it? Or like a stroke.
The individualism of the artist, their aggressive nature in a very peaceful society. What?
Literally. Right, exactly, right? Or like a big stroke, like this blue stroke going down, and like it's sold for over $1 million or something like that. You know, those kind of stuff. And that's what I feel like that plays in fashion, that plays in music as well. You know, it plays in creativity just generally, where there's some things that you're not going to really understand. And then you can have the Andy Warhol approach where it's very commercial. You know what I mean? Basquiat, where it's super abstract.
Yeah.
Andy Warhol, super commercial. You know what I mean?
Both are nice.
Yeah. That combination of them as well. That was nice.
They were homies.
So you started off obviously taking photos on Instagram and so on, yeah. In today's world, 2022, how do you think that's easier or that's a lot harder now to be able to get to your level? If let's say,
man, you just grab a phone and you take a picture, you know?
Yeah. The reason why I asked that though is because everyone now knows that if they take a photo, you know,
someone will see them. Yeah.
But then now more people actually begin to jump on that now.
Like a saturated
and that's what
market
it becomes saturated now. So that's what I'm asking. Do you think now it's becoming a lot harder or
to reach out? Or to like put my
get
stuff
noticed, you mean?
Like to excel in what you do.
To excel in that area because now everyone is kind of, you know, that's what they want to do.
Right. For me, my prime goal was never to like, obviously I do enjoy when I'm noticed. I like that. Like you spoke before, like people knowing me and I wasn't aware of that, right? It's not always about, for me, it's never been really about getting noticed. It's about creating things that I feel is genuinely true to me. You know what I mean? And if people like it, cool. If they don't, you know, and I've always been like that. And that's what kind of like made me an outcast in some form, right? It's just always saying, you know what, if it's true to me, let me do it. If it's not, well, I'm not going to do it. If it means it has to lead me to go into like a solitude in some sense, in the form of thought, I'll do it, you know? So for me, like with the Instagram and let's just say even TikTok and all that kind of stuff, I don't try and ride the wave or keep up with it because that's how you go through mental health, you know? This whole mental health thing is the constant trying to compete. Yep. And we all do it subconsciously, right? If you're scrolling, you're comparing yourself to the next person. And so you're having these insecurities, you know what I mean? You're not too sure if you're enough. And this is what's happening right now. People are not sure if they're enough. What they are as a person is enough. I've got to show this. It's like when you meet someone, what's your Instagram? Let me see what's up with you. You know what I mean? And they think they know who you are as a person through your Instagram. And it's just a vision board. It really isn't anything more than just a vision board. Obviously, there's people who like yourselves who put out content that has substance, like right? A little bit more to it, yeah. You know, but at the end of the day, it's just a vision board. And trying to keep up with whatever's hot, it's like... that's what leads to like mental problems. That's what I feel like. You know what I mean?
The Instagram thing's so funny, man. Because legit, like what my whole day looks like is not reflected one bit through my Instagram. Not even my stories. Maybe a close friend story will catch a glimpse or something. Or even I think Snapchat is the one I do not care about anymore. Like the way I laugh on there will be cooked. The recording will be shaky. Snapchat is when you can see what like a normal, like a moment will look like.
This is my life.
This is just like whatever, you know what I mean? But like Instagram is so far attached, and I feel like for majority of people will be so far attached from like just what a regular day or like what the rest of their day looks like aside from the, I don't know, 15 seconds for the story or the 24 hours that someone's photo is in someone else's feed kind of thing. Like it's so detached from like, what's really
Do you
going
feel
on.
like you're at peace in your normal life than you're at when you're on Instagram?
In terms of what?
In just mental space.
Peace in my normal life?
Yeah.
Yeah. Instagram is a zero, like no way close reflection of like who I am or anything like that. Yeah. I feel like I wonder how many people look at my IG and like, what they think of like,
But I feel like you still have the same energy you portray on the Instagram. That's why I was surprised with the whole crew. And I was like, wow, you guys are just like the same in real life, you know?
implement that comment.
Yeah.
Like,
But is
energy.
that through conversations though?
Conversation and what you guys are putting out.
Okay,
like I can connect the dots. You know
Maybe
what I
that's
mean?
where the difference is for us, because we do have a slight extra place where we can express our platform compared to if it was just my IG
Photos and
and it was
videos.
just the photos and the stories that I put up, I just wonder. I want someone who doesn't know me in real life. Let me know, what do you think of me through the IG? Because because of, the podcast, there is a bit more. You're right. Like the personality does come out a bit more like that. But
And that's what I respect about what you guys are doing. You're very genuine about it. It's very real. You know what I mean? I'm here and I can feel it. I'm just like, wow.
that's dope.
You know?
Wow, look at
What do you think they think when
Of
they
my
look-
IG?
Yeah.
I don't know that.
What do you even post?
I don't even know what I post.
What do you
Nowadays,
post?
I actually post whatever, and as well as whenever time. I remember there was a period of time when
Let me maximize
the hot hour, you know what I mean? You look at the insights, it'll tell you 6 p.m. on a Sunday, bro.
the best time.
It's active. That's your time to shine, bro. And that'll be when the photo drops.
Have you ever done that?
In terms of like
Kind
time?
of like,
You
6
know when-
p.m.
Of course. There's a hot hour, you know what I mean? So you have to.
9 p.m.
You have
too
to.
late.
True.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that, especially in your sense.
Especially if you're
business sided. It's
business.
bro, let's do business properly then.
Yeah.
Right.
Like 9 p.m. drop. Yeah.
True, but that's the funny thing. Like with the whole business thing, it kind of just happened. Like even when I was at school, I used to draw in people's shoes, and they used to pay me for it. You know?
Sick.
And it's just like I used to sell lollies when I was like 10 years old. Like I'd go and flip them at school.
Bro, you've been shotting,
Wow.
bro.
Yeah, so I never really approached it like business. It's just something that I enjoyed doing, and then when the label it
Run me through the lolly thing. How were you selling lollies, bro?
before school, I go to like the little like 7-Elevens or
Yeah.
whatever, grab a full bag, put them in like this plastic bag, go to school and sell them for double the price.
Nah.
Wait, you don't have anyone at your school that
smart.
did this?
I don't think it was, but the people at our school that did this was the pyramid scheme guys. So they were selling what was the drink? The one that starts with V.
Vimto.
Nah, the other one. What is it?
Vima.
Vima. The LOL drink,
Lol's
the smiley
drink.
face.
Oh, I remember that one.
Yeah,
The,
I remember that
the power bands.
Oh yeah, I remember that too. I remember that. Oh man,
all those kind of things.
They had the
It
whole
wasn't
thing.
like a regular bag of chips, and he's the bag of chips guy. Like you need some snacks. Canteen's too pricey. I got you.
Yeah,
gotta
you got
open
the jacket, you got everything.
We never had that kind of
That's
guy. Our one was like, come see me at the back of the Oval, bro. I got my bag, and we'll give you some of this low can drink.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Wow.
no, we never had that kind
Like
of guy.
you're gonna have energy in your next class.
But yeah, so you.
We had kids selling donuts, everything.
Oh, bro.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, it happens, yeah.
Yeah.
No canteen.
No, we had
Yeah,
canteen and all
missed
that,
out.
but the canteen didn't have donuts.
Exactly. You're that guy with the
so
the
that was
extra
you with the
stuff.
lollies.
Yeah, I got in trouble for it too. I even got in trouble for drawing on people's shoes. They had to stop it and all that. You know, yeah. So
Yeah. So it kind of naturally progressed into now this is kind of where you're at, and you're doing this creative thing as a business now. It wasn't
Exactly.
something you tended to
no, and
pursue.
it's never a it's like a form of service. That's what
Yeah,
I always
yeah,
look at business as, because a lot of people look at business as capitalism, right? But for me, I look at it as a form of service, right? If it's not of service, people are not gonna it's not gonna work. You know what I'm saying?
So what was that transition like? Because obviously it was just fashion, and then now you got to add the business aspect, the emails, and actually, certain things got to be done in a
Administrative
professional
side.
way.
Yeah.
Administration side of it. So how was that like?
It was pretty good because you guys keep going on to the design and me wearing and styling, but I actually do creative directing and I run a business and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I've been doing emails for the longest time, you know what I mean, for a very long time. At the start, I wasn't very used to it. Obviously I just wanted to go out there, be creative, do creative directing and all that stuff. But yeah, it's just like being on your phone, right? Just putting a bit more time to, make some money. So
Man, that's nice. For us, it's like, yo, guys, everyone pick up your game. Business.
business.
Talk to us a bit about your brand, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I actually checked that out. I was like, yeah, I should mess with your stuff. It's actually nice.
Amazing.
And
So
is
how
that
long
one of your?
Of course,
Yeah.
I'm always representing,
Nice, nice.
Yeah. So my brand is called Tennis Herve Levine. The reason why I actually chose tennis is because I believe in an active lifestyle. Health is wealth at the end of the day. So I chose tennis, and then I just put my name in front of it. Obviously, my name, is pretty unique and all that. But yeah, I put my name in front of it, and I just wanted to put out things that I didn't see out in the market, right? Because I was doing a lot of just modeling, and I felt like I had something within me because I've been doing fashion for a very long time. and I knew what it is that I wanted to do, right?
Yep.
I was mentored by people who worked for Comme des Garçons and stuff like that. And I was like, you know what, I think I'm ready to go out and create something that, you know, represents the people, and just to show people that look like me that you can actually go out there and, you know, begin your own fashion label. And just like we're speaking about music, a lot of this hip hop thing is around buying clothes, and they don't really go back and, you know, make their own stuff. So I just thought, you know what, this is an industry and you know, a department no one has really tapped into, and there really isn't any blueprint on how to do it, because a bunch of these brands that are here, they're like 90 years old, 100 years old. It's an old man's game, basically. It's like golf. It's very boring behind the scenes, you know. Yeah. It's a slow grind, getting everything together, getting people together, and all that kind of stuff. But I enjoy it because, you know, it's just super creative and in touch with what I believe, you know. But in terms of the brand, I wanted to bring out a high-end streetwear brand that incorporates, like, you know, couture, which is ready to wear dresses and stuff like that, and that's tailor made, and even suits and all that, just that kind of stuff, and just streetwear as well. Just fashion in general, I can't really put it in a box. There's so many different, you know, silhouettes out there. Sure. Yeah, I do enjoy the creative directing part a lot more, because that's what brings everything together. It's the storytelling. Right. Yeah, so for me, I used fashion as a form of storytelling, you know.
So what's the story behind the top?
What's the story behind the top? It's the brand. I mean, like,
no story.
Really, it has to go with something else. You know what I mean? But it's part of the brand. But the story behind the entire brand is like, because I really enjoy history. Yep. I'm talking ancient Egypt. I'm talking ancient Rome, Persia, all that really, you know, super old stuff. And I like futuristic stuff as well. I know you guys have watched Blade Runner and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so I like...
That's what our font is for the podcast.
Oh, yeah, sure. Blade Runner. Yeah, so my thing is just like interpreting all this, you know, storytelling within clothes. Yep. It's like basically a movie director. A movie director is inspired by a bunch of different things, and then they put it together. But the fact is that I'm doing it with clothes. No one has really done that. I've looked around. People don't really do that. They don't use clothes as a form of, you know, storytelling. But I realized it's a medium you can actually use as a form of storytelling. So why not? I've always been into storytelling. I've been writing stories since I was like 6 years old. Me and my two brothers, we used to do production as well, get the cameras out and just do like really corny little videos. Yeah. We would script them and everything. And in video games as well, we'd play like, you know, GTA, but I'd go on the side and create a little storyline, you know. So I've always been fascinated with storytelling. And that's why I feel like clothes is just like kind of like giving people an understanding on what place we are in history, you know what I mean, where we at the moment. So that's what I'm doing.
That's very nice.
From your understanding, where do you think we are right now? Like, because you know, we have so much that we've seen in history. We have a very tumultuous point in time that we're at right now. Yeah. And we have so much potential where we think we can get to. We have, you know, people going to space like it's a day trip and things like that now, right? So there's so much potential for where we can get to. We've seen where we've come from, and we know where the heck we're at now, and it's not that cute.
Yeah.
What is your understanding of, like, where is this space right now? Like,
I believe we're closer to the future than we were before, because, you know, Elon especially, he's an innovator. There's a bunch of innovators coming out of nowhere and creating technology and tech that's bringing us to the next level. Even like iPhones, while we also are addicted to it, it's something new. Technology is starting to take off. I'd say give it a couple years or even 20 years or something like that, and it's going to, you know, take off. And that's another thing that I'm focusing on, in bringing tech within clothing as well, you know, later down the road, but that's for another conversation. But yeah, I see we're very, very close to the future, even with the electric scooters going around. Yeah. I was in the city, it was all dark. I saw this thing just zooming past. I'm like, bro, are we in like 20, like 50 or something? You know what I mean? So I believe we're closer to the future, and that's why there's a lot of conflict starting to, you know, pick up, because cyber warfare is a real thing, you know. So
that's interesting. Right?
And you got a show coming up 20th of March.
Yep.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. So like what we were talking about before, music and fashion, and I feel like those two things come together. So we've got live performances, all different genres, from punk to Afrobeat to like very mellow, you know, musicians all coming in and performing. In terms of brands as well, we've got the range from super classic to streetwear. I just wanted to kind of like showcase the range of when it comes to music and fashion to showcase all that, because I feel like that's what's been missing.
Yeah.
Usually when you have a show, you only have one thing, one concept, either high end or low end, or music is just like one genre. I just wanted to showcase culture basically. And so that's what's happening on March 20th on the Sunday. Starts at 6:30 sharp, because we are getting everyone to sit down so they can be well relaxed. We don't want people moving around.
Of course.
Yeah, just give them a show where they're relaxed and all that kind of stuff, and bringing the creativity into one venue.
And what was the lead up to that like? Like, what stuff did you have to prepare for, and brands and so on?
Oh, there was so much things, man. From production to the talent that's going to show up, to the brands, and actually studying them before actually, inviting them to the show, and understanding how it all comes together. That's all part of, creative directing, to bring people within different areas and putting them together. And that's what I've been doing since I was taking pictures on Instagram, contacting with photographers. I look at that content and see, how can I put this together? How can we merge, all this stuff together? And so it's been an interesting, challenging journey, but I enjoy a challenge. I always do.
And your brand will be also being showcased?
Definitely, most definitely.
So definitely, yeah.
And it's your first time doing something like this?
It's my first time putting my brand on a runway, but I've worked with plenty of models on a shoot and creative directed. So
you haven't thought of putting your brand at Ego Expo? Because that would have been dope, seeing that the runway.
It would have, but I was so busy trying to get this stuff done, and making sure the event is actually entertaining throughout the whole 2 hours, and not having people have that awkward pose where, like, what's going on. It's just constant entertainment and showcasing the culture in Melbourne, because I feel like no one really knows what's going on here. I'm talking in terms of like the world, on a global stage.
That is true. Like, we feel like so much is bubbling here, but it's still so, and we always talk about this, still so young, man. And I feel like in the past maybe like, let me say 2 years is when, like, I've seen people really like pick it up and like, all right, now let's start to take ourselves seriously first. And people support this, support that. Like, everyone's going to this person's show, who then goes to this person's brand launch, who's also on this person's like podcast, DJ, all that kind of stuff. Like, I'm starting to see a lot of people now are really like believing in what they can bring to the scene, and throwing an event for it, kind of thing. And amazing. Maybe let's say 3 years ago, it would have been like, bro, what are you trying to do?
No.
You didn't think
I've got a question for you guys. Yeah. How could you describe the Melbourne culture? Like, what's your way of describing what's going on right now? What would you call Melbourne culture?
Right now.
Like,
literally this week I was thinking right now I would describe it as very collaborative.
Right. But in terms of like a theme, you know what I mean?
What comes to mind for me is adventurous, I think, to be honest, because I feel like I see a lot of people just like, you know what, I want to do this, I'm going to do it.
Right.
I was going to say energetic.
Let me give you an example. Like LA is very like gangster kind of thing, you know what I mean? In terms of like the character of the of Melbourne, like characteristics.
Wow, that's an interesting.
We're definitely not gangster.
No way.
No way.
There's people trying to be, but
it ain't
that's about it.
Oh, that's an interesting question, man. I have something, but I don't know if it kind of encapsulates all of Melbourne properly, or at least the scene that we kind of exist in. But
let's go around the table, by the way. I really want to hear everyone's point of view.
Kind of like, this is the word that comes to mind, and then how I explain it is going to be tough. Kind of like barista cafe vibes, yeah? And what I mean by that is like
mellow,
chill, like easygoing, more so, and like a slight dash of classy to it. Anyone can be at a cafe kind of thing. Anyone can be in this space and exist in this kind of place, but you're getting like good quality stuff coming out of it. I don't know how to explain. So
like Italy kind of thing, vibes? Italy cafes kind of thing, or
more France,
right?
I think probably a bit more. Yeah, because if you look at the creative scene in France, to be honest,
a bit more hustle
and bustle kind of vibe, but it's still that premium,
in a city, or like more to the countryside.
More in a city, I think.
Right.
More in a city.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, now you guys help me out to get to where I'm trying to get to. That's what I kind of feel like Melbourne is like. Yeah.
Okay.
Because we have that grunginess to us,
right?
Which you do see in France. A lot of people say some certain things about inner city France. But it's also still France, man. It's still Eiffel Tower. It's still all the culture.
Ooh la la.
Ooh la la. You know what I mean? There's still all of that about it. So with us, it's like we're still grungy with it. We're still young with it. A bit hustle and bustle, but it's premium stuff that kind of comes out. So I don't know. That's kind of what comes to mind when it comes to like Melbourne when I think about it. Yeah.
Interesting.
And I'm picturing like, I don't know. Yeah.
No, I get it. I get it. Yeah.
You're getting that
There you go.
vibe.
So
I'm getting more of
Sure.
like a pop vibe.
Pop.
ooh.
Yeah.
Who the heck do you know?
I don't know, because it goes in line with that adventurous.
Yeah.
So how do you get adventurous then get coffee vibe?
Nah, adventures. Now when we got to France, that's what I mean.
That's
In
adventurous.
terms of adventures. Yeah.
Yeah.
You ain't seen what's going on. You don't know what's going on in France right now, man. The culture there is like, it's nice. Even French music is...
French music is
Yeah,
popping
that-
for
Nah, but like the
Yeah.
rap right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, the
Like
rap.
the rap right now is saucy, fam. You know what I'm saying?
They be saucy with it.
But yeah.
You roasted me for that. You're like,
yeah, I
you
know.
don't understand what
And
they're saying.
then and then I caught it.
Yeah.
And then I realized I don't need to understand.
Bro, you just like the beat.
Nah, that happens,
Yeah.
right?
I
The
don't know,
Speedo,
I
the
like
song that came out, you know, there's a bunch of things you
Yeah,
just
yeah.
hum to it, and it's like,
I'm like, boy.
and the song Peru, is that the song? The name of the song?
That one,
yeah.
everyone's loving that. Yeah,
Yeah.
but they're speaking a bit of Yoruba in there, so I'm
See, I didn't understand it, but I loved it
you're
though.
loving it.
I loved
I
it.
didn't know that was French.
Just that no one understands the language, but
okay,
they're speaking my language.
After
Most of the part,
that was
yeah.
French, I was gonna say that.
No.
That'll be a whole
actually-
different. Yeah.
What are you saying?
I'm getting a bit of like pop vibes.
Pop vibes.
Like
Yeah.
Tokyo pop, like, you know, K-pop kind of thing.
That's
you
mine.
getting- you getting-
That's-
For us?
No, yeah, K-pop, but I didn't know what theme that would be under. Because like when you listen to K-pop is big, like everywhere. No matter where you go, they have fans everywhere, right? No one understands exactly what's going on, but even the people who do understand, you know, sometimes it's like, but like I don't know how to explain it. K-pop, right? It's like, you don't understand it, but you want to be a part of it still. You know,
Right.
and I feel like that's what's kind of going on, especially this year. There've been like a lot of major events or people who have come out and been like, oh, I'm doing this and this and this. And it's like, you don't really know that person, or you don't really like, you know, I guess you've never really known them that well, but it's like you still want to be a part of what's going on. You know, ego. Not everyone there is into fashion, or not everyone there is into, you know, streetwear, but you still want to be a part of it. And I feel like that's like K-pop. That's why I'm trying to figure out what theme that is, where it's like, I don't understand the lyrics, but I'm bopping to what they're putting out, you know?
Right.
Like I still want to be a part of that movement. I still want to be a part of what they're doing. So yeah.
That's
That's
just interesting you say that, because
That would
you
be-
say K-pop and I think kawaii kind of vibes.
Yeah.
Next to you, yeah. So like,
Nah,
Yeah,
they
I
go
don't
off.
see
No,
that.
legit, they
No,
go
no,
off.
but I get where you're coming
Yeah,
from.
yeah.
K-pop is a mixture of a lot of things happening
lot,
at once, you know,
100%,
because even
it's
the
crazy.
fashion in Tokyo is just
yes.
crazy. It's insane, right? So it's just a mixture of new things
Everything
merging out
together.
of like nowhere. I get where you're
Yeah.
coming from.
I think for me, Melbourne is slightly different. It's more, especially different to yours. For me, it's more underground because it's like, you know, how, like underground has, like we were saying at the start, like the energy, and a lot of people doing a lot of things, and everyone has to be collaborative when you're underground. But it's like the people that are part of it are really part of it, and so I feel like we have that underground kind of
I see that.
like
me
it's an
a-
underground
a geographic
feeling.
kind
Like if
of-
I was to compare it to something, I would say
what, Chicago?
grime when it started.
Okay, yeah.
Right, yeah,
Right?
yeah. I see
So,
that. I see that.
Like the people that are part of it, you're like, yeah, you're at Lord of the Mics, you're at all these kind of things. But if you're outside of it, you're like,
What's going on?
not even. It's just like nothing's going on.
Yeah,
in this city.
Yeah, you're not even
And
aware.
then in 5, 6, 7 years time, it's gonna be like,
Everyone's like,
oh shoot, like that was happening in our city, and now everyone in our city loves this thing.
It's catching on to
Yeah.
it.
So I see underground as Melbourne to me is an underground place still.
Right.
Yeah.
I can see everyone's vision, and I can like
everything
see it
makes
come
sense.
together, right? Wow, that's amazing.
What about you?
For me, oh man, that is a hard one. Like I had to think about it. That's why I had to ask you guys about it, right? I'm like, what is Melbourne culture? You know what is Australian culture?
Yeah.
Because you know, being African and coming here early, you kind of lose identity of like, you know, where you came from and all that cultural stuff, because you're going to school and you're getting presented with something else. So culture was always something very interesting to me. So, you know, I was always curious about it. That's why I had to ask you guys. But hearing what you guys are saying, there's different perspectives. It's not all the same, right? No one is saying the same thing. So it's how you look at it. So for me personally, I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure it out, and that's why I use my clothes as a way to kind of create my own understanding of what's going on. You know.
That's awesome.
It's interesting how you say Australia, because I haven't gone around Australia to kind of see what it's like over there. Because you obviously, even though social media is big, like I don't know anyone from Sydney that's. I know there's probably someone there that's killing it, or group of people that's killing it. But I was like, I don't know that. Darwin, where you can, like, I don't know that.
Bro, no one knows anyone there.
You get what I'm saying?
So small, yeah.
But that's why I can get that underground feeling where it's like there's probably there, but you probably just have to kind of go there and tap in and be like, yo, it's actually here.
I think there's also a difference in that, like, Australian mainstream culture is very different to the culture that we're part of in Australia.
What do you mean
know
by
what I mean?
that?
Like, so,
No,
there are very successful Australian YouTubers, like extremely.
Yep.
But I don't think of them as Australian YouTubers. Like, when I think of Australian YouTubers, I'm thinking the people that are into the stuff that I like.
Right.
I'm like, oh, there's no successful Australian YouTubers.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And so
Is that why? Is it because the girl? Oh yeah, I know those guys.
exactly, bro. One of them dated Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
Was it Jai?
I don't know. I can't remember.
You're a fun boy. No, I'm joking.
This is unlocking the memory.
No, I'm joking.
You know what I mean? Like, as in, I think for immigrant Australians like ourselves, it's like we are part of a different interest group, or at least, I mean, some might be part of mainstream Australian culture, but for me at least, it's like I'm not, and so I'm like, I don't see many musicians that I'm like, oh, those are cool Aussie musicians.
That's what I'm
Or
saying.
that,
Like,
things like that, and I think that is finally being created in itself.
Right. Hopefully that happens, because that's what I'm trying to ask. Like, I don't see anyone really representing Australia for what it is.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what is it?
To the
right?
true
That's
diversity of what it is.
Exactly, because
absolutely, but it's coming. I think it is going to end up
But that's
coming.
also hard. I don't think there can be a blanket stamp. No, I mean, okay, yeah. I feel like a lot of countries are able to say, this is what we do and this is what we do best.
Right.
That's true.
In terms of whether it be a sound that they have,
Yep.
or a dance, you know what I mean? All that kind of stuff. I
Slang.
feel like it's slang.
Yeah.
We actually, okay, the slang that we use, right,
Okay.
or like, is not going to be what you hear
It's
Around the world.
TN wearing Frankston Station slang boy kind of thing.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
I think the struggle with Melbourne as well is like any of it's either Aussie slang, like very Aussie slang, like brekkie, right?
exported.
Oh, grouse.
Or
Yeah.
fully exported,
imported,
right?
sorry.
And it's like, imported, yeah? Where it's like, this is UK slang. Like, I mean, we have very few Jamaicans here, but I know a million guys that say Wagwan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I'm pretty sure they don't know any Jamaican people. That's fine,
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know how the Jamaicans feel about that.
No, no men
That's you.
Jamaicans, bro.
That's both of these guys.
No, we're not Jamaicans.
Oh, so that's what you
Everyone's
guys do, huh?
You know, but it's like,
Yeah.
it's very outside of our thing, and it's like, yeah, when do we start coming up with our own stuff?
That's what I'm trying to get to,
Yeah.
What is our thing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When it comes to slang, when it comes to music, when it comes to style. We haven't really represented, ourselves.
I think we're still trying to figure it out.
I feel
Because
like
it seems so young.
but I feel like maybe the reason why there hasn't been that like major like that's our breakthrough, that's our guy, is because it's hard to be able to encapsulate all of what everyone feels into a certain one culture kind of thing. I just don't know how it would be possible for us.
So I don't even think it's that. I think the UK does it really well, especially in recent years, where it's like they have kind of each group has found a person that has hit the front lines.
Okay.
And those people are all cool with each other.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, then everyone sees themselves in someone. Not everyone sees themselves in someone, but in just someone that exists. You know what I mean? So like in different people. And so because then you're working together across the board at the top level, every group under kind of goes, oh, like I see that group, I see that group, I see that group. I enjoyed this, I enjoyed that from them, I enjoyed this from us. But we're all British.
Right.
And then we kind of need that same kind of
They've
thing.
got a bunch of influences, you're
100%,
saying,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
So that's where we're going, though.
Yeah.
Has to happen. Has to
this,
happen.
this was actually something I wanted to talk about when you guys touched on it lightly. I think you mentioned about the whole everyone's doing their thing, and then 5 years later everyone catches on.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's very, very interesting to see the space we're at, because collaboration is 100% needed then, because if a strong front isn't kind of built now, then we aren't going to get that representation for all these different groups and our apparent K-pop vibe, the French vibe, the what did you say again? The pop vibe and the underground. You know, all these different vibes that are going on in Melbourne. All of that isn't actually going to be brought to the front line if all these groups aren't like. Not necessarily groups, but if like people aren't actually supporting what other people are doing. It sounds very corny to say. It sounds like
doesn't.
fair enough, support each other instead of stepping on each other's back, support each other, let's lift each other up. It sounds very true, whatever, cliche, that's what we always hear.
Right.
But it's so true for like, if we're actually trying to create something that is bigger than us, it's going to have to be in these initial stages that people are like really, really knuckling down and working together. And then when you get to that, like, it will be so crazy to hear like the conversations of like, when it's now big and like other people are catching on that weren't actually a part of what's going on, talking about, in these days we used to, have meetings at this place, or we used to go to this person's event that was held at their house, blah, blah. I mean, currently right now, rest in peace, Jamal Edwards, and you probably even know a whole lot more of what he was doing. I'm in the UK. Yeah. Like, I'm seeing so many conversations come out of he was involved in this, he was involved in that. And I'm like, how crazy would it be to get to a point in Melbourne where we're talking about what you were doing for culture at, like 5 years ago. And now everyone else is catching on. But no one knows about, the late night when you were creative directing with this particular person for this shoot. You know what I mean? Like all that kind of stuff. It's like
stories behind the scenes.
Yeah, the stories and things like that. And I think that's kind of this is the phase that we're at now.
We're creating some stories right now.
This is what it is. We're 100% creating the stories right now that are going to be told. But in terms of us even being able to see any of that be crazy or take off yet, I'm wondering how long that might be.
That's going to take some time.
In terms of like outside of what we're doing, even nationally, that's a tough one.
Yeah, I think it's going to catch on quicker than you guys think, It usually comes out of nowhere and then you're like, wow,
Yeah.
Damn,
that's amazing.
Exciting. It's actually very exciting to be part of this whole thing. Like, kind of like, you don't know where this goes.
Yeah, because even you guys, you're a shift in culture. You might not notice it because you're in the middle of it.
We're like you on Facebook back in the day. not noticing what's going on.
That's what happens. You literally don't notice.
Getting bullied on TikTok.
You're using TikTok?
No, but someone was leaving some comments for me.
He was on another podcast though, flaming.
Wow, that's social media for you.
Cool.
That's cool. For real.
You can't get carried
you do
away.
this full time?
Like designing and creative directing. Yeah, I do it full time
Awesome.
right now.
So what does your day to day look like?
Organizing people, like making sure this person knows what they're doing in terms of, let's say, design and stuff like that. Answering emails in terms of production, making sure things are going according to plan, because sometimes productions, one thing can go wrong, which delays it for like 20 days and all that kind of stuff. Making sure couriers are getting shipped at on time. Even like with the online stuff and website, the coding and all that kind of stuff, knowing like the AWS, which is like storage for your for your websites and all that kind of stuff. Trying to keep up to date with what's going on. And every day is just constant grinding, but I've got a to-do list, obviously, which gets bigger throughout the day. It starts off with like 4 and then you end with like 20, 21, 40. So for me, it's just constantly doing things, and I enjoy it, so I don't find it very
like laborious and stuff.
Exactly. And I'm surrounded by a bunch of like people who've been in the industry for like 20 plus years.
That's
Really
nice.
So they're always there giving me advice and speaking to me in the office, to come in, ask me what I'm up to give me a few pointers on what I can change and what I can adjust. But I enjoy it, Yeah.
That's dope.
This is a random one, but I was thinking about this, I think 2 weeks ago, with this whole like collaborating and all this kind of thing going on now, right? I'm going to ask the question. You guys are going to think this guy's being deep for no reason. It sounds like so far out of there. But what is like, maybe we'll go around as well. What is you guys like understanding of like family, right?
Okay.
And the reason this kind of came up,
I like this.
and the reason this came up is, I was thinking, right? I was thinking about just like my IG, and I was like, bruv, I don't even have like
Photos of my family?
No, not even that. No. I actually archived a bunch of those.
Yeah, but
I was like, let me tuck that. I actually don't have a lot of like any of my cousins that don't live here. I don't have any of them on social media. Not even a Facebook. Like, we're in a WhatsApp group with all the family, like all around the world, all the cousins, etc. There's a WhatsApp group. In terms of like me having their Instagram or their Facebook, I was like, I don't have any. I'm like, I'm not connected with any of these guys.
Yeah.
And then I was just thinking, like, this is so crazy that, like, we're related because my dad is sister, you're their child kind of thing or whatever, right?
I
And
don't know you.
I don't know you. I don't know what's going on in your life, but we're family by blood, like that. Like we are family.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, is this something that we should, like, I should be holding on to a lot more? Like placing a lot more focus on it in terms of connecting with them, finding out what's going on in their life, allowing them to know what's going on in my life. Because I'm like, I wonder what my cousins even think is going on. Like, what am I even doing? Like, there used to be the cousin I was really close to in Nigeria before we left. She was like my best friend, apparently. There's a photo of us, bro, it was so weird. There's a photo of us like giving each other like a goodbye kiss kind of thing. Like, yeah. Like, we were that and like that, inseparable. And I'm like, bro, who are you now? Like, I know nothing that's going on in your life kind of thing, right? And then I was just thinking like, what is our understanding of, like, especially in a day and age where we can connect with friends in different countries. Yeah. What is our concept of this like whole like your family and your like tribe kind of thing? Shout out to Judah Tribe as I'm wearing it right now.
I've heard of them too.
Yeah. But what is our understanding of this like tribe and things like that? Because as we're collaborating, we're spending hours and hours with people who aren't family by blood, but it feels like we've been through the most together.
Yep.
Like it feels like these are our people now. You know what I mean? Like these are people that, like, when you look at what's going to be your life in X amount of years, this person is you can't picture it without these people. So like, is this concept of like, is it getting shifted, like of family and what that kind of looks like and what that means? Because I'm sure there was a point in time when family was all people knew, and that was carried throughout their whole life essentially.
On that, so it's like, I was having this conversation with my parents the other day, like, because my family's from Iraq, and like there at Christmas time, or it just regular hangouts or whatever, it's like it's literally all a family. You got 100 cousins, right?
Wow.
And so it's like you're at this person's house, you're at this person's house, you're at this person, whatever, all that kind of thing. Just regular hangouts of the week. You're only really doing it amongst family, all that. Yeah, you know people, you work with other people, all that kind of stuff. And it's like you say hi and it's cordial.
But everyone knows at this certain time you go to your family, I'm going to mine.
You know? Yeah. Whereas like here, we don't have any extended family, right? Well, my mom has maybe like third cousins or something here, right? And so it's like, for them, all the people they hang out with now are people that are like not related at all. And so it's like, they were saying like the style of the hangout is totally different, right? It's like, there it's like, just come over for some tea, that's it, right? Here it's like, tea, you got to put out the food, you got to put out all this kind of stuff, you know? It's like, it's a big, and it's like when you go to theirs, they got to do the same thing. And it's like, just that whole concept of like family doesn't exist here because you're an immigrant now. And then it's like, they were saying how like that has passed on to the kids, because similar, I was talking about exactly the same thing with cousin stuff. It's like, right now, if my cousins walked past me, I actually wouldn't know who it is.
Right.
Right? Like, I don't have any cousins in Australia, Canada, Middle East, and
UK.
I feel like there's people in the UK and then people in America, right? The standard story, right?
Right.
But it's like, I've seen photos. I'm not even part of that whole family chat. I don't know why I wasn't added. I'm the only person that's not added. Apparently
like
they think I'm in it. They say happy birthday and everything. And I'm like, I don't know.
I ain't getting it.
I know, I was going to say.
Bro, the crazy part, I've mentioned it to my own family a million times. Like, oh, you know, I'm not part of it. And they're like, that's crazy. I keep pushing. I mean, add me. But nah, like, I actually wouldn't know who they are if they walk past me, which is a crazy concept. But then for some reason, I feel this, like, I should still care.
Do you
know
make
what
an
I mean?
effort, though?
Not
Do
at
you
all.
put in that effort?
Not at all. But like, if it came to like, Noah's getting married, everyone's getting an invite. Yeah, but I don't know why. I don't know why.
Well, I mean, you said you're not putting in an effort.
I'm not putting it. No, they. And I'm the youngest, so I feel like they should.
Oh, the excuse.
It comes back around full circle, you know. So
I think it's the environment as well, because you and your best friend, you came here.
Cousin.
Your cousin. Sorry, where did they go? So you moved here.
She's in America right now somewhere. Yeah.
Oh, so she went to America.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, it's environment. You know, you're over here, you created like your own family over here. Do you get what I mean? Like, even if you were to communicate with them and so on, and you know, even if they're doing a podcast and whatever, right? You guys could be doing the same thing. They're still not here to go through it with you, you know, part of your journey as well.
I'm even saying as simply as knowing, what did you study at uni?
Like,
I have no clue.
But don't you feel because technology just came out, everyone is trying to innovate? Like, everyone's on the phone and like trying to create content and all that kind of stuff. There's this need of innovation that the focus went from family to what can I create? You know what I mean? if it's content, whatever it might be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is kind of
Even beyond technology, it's like lifestyle changed, and we start to some merit and to some, I guess, like discredit. It's like people realize they don't really have to with their family, which is kind of a good thing and kind of a bad thing.
Because you can go to like family functions, everyone's just on their phones most of the time.
100%.
You know what I mean?
I try to force to not
Yeah,
happen.
Yeah.
exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Technology, right?
yeah,
You can all be together in the same room,
Yeah, and
then
disconnected.
Everyone's on
disconnected, like on their phone,
Yeah.
looking at what's going on,
Yeah.
or even like this collective consciousness was like, oh, did you see that funny video? Everyone knows exactly what you're talking about,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So we're just connecting in that cyber world at the moment. So I mean, maybe that's why like people are not very family oriented at the moment, you know?
Are you more talking about like family overseas or even family here?
Nah, family, I'm cool. Like, there's my people there.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
So
We
you
live
see them
together.
every
Yeah.
day.
Nah,
Talk about
oh,
family
no,
overseas.
wait. What do you
You
mean?
see
Like,
them
what?
every day.
Immediate fam? Nah, that's mad, bruv. I can't imagine life without them at
highest
all.
priority.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
fam.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
fam,
Sure.
like, through and through.
Yeah.
Cousins here, like, that's still my people. You know what I'm saying? Like, auntie needs something? Yeah, let's try to sort this out. How can I be there for you kind of
Yeah.
thing? But as soon as we get out of Australia,
Not my people.
I don't know you.
except for my mom's sister in Nigeria, that's the
Yeah.
homie still. Man. Yeah, you know,
But
we
it's
shout
kind of
out.
hard to keep up with everyone,
Yeah,
right?
it is.
Oh, definitely. Very
But
much.
it's just a conversation in terms of like, what are you studying?
Yeah, I need
You
to
know
find
what I
out
mean?
their
Like, it doesn't
Facebooks,
have to be
man.
like an everyday conversation. It could be
That's
like,
your mission now, right?
yeah,
Go home, write a list, and
Where's
contact
gonna go home? What are
everyone.
you studying? Done.
Feeling good now.
Next year it is.
Yeah,
The thing
next
you were
year.
talking about, everyone's trying to create. That is actually quite important and interesting. Like, I feel like now we're in more of a time than ever where people can create for themselves, and I have more time to be able to focus on creating for themselves compared to creating because your family needs to eat. Or
Right.
creating because the family is your sole priority now. Now there's so many more safety nets or so many ways that like your fam can be good without you needing to have such a strong influence in it kind of thing. Like you have like kids going popping off now off like them doing their TikToks and now they've got a whole career.
Yeah. The
Whilst
whole
you're-
family adjusts
yeah.
to that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The whole especially in that
Charlie
sense, yeah.
D'Amelio and all them, like
You know
the
what I mean?
parents literally became
Parents don't work
personalities
anymore.
because of it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like parents don't have their line of field anymore. It's like, all right, my child can actually do something now. Like that's such a crazy shift compared to how we've ever been in
Lifestyle.
just humanity in general. I don't know. I wasn't there in them times, but I'm sure
Definitely.
the kids were not leading the family
No,
at
no,
some point in time.
No way.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it is quite wild now that you can actually focus a lot more on you and creating for you. That now it's like sometimes family can't actually help me with this thing. I actually need to spend a lot more time with X, Y, and Z with these people now.
yeah.
And now you have families living together, but they're living lives that all other family members aren't even aware of properly.
And how did you guys find doing this whole podcast? When you're working on it, do you feel like you're spending more time trying to see where you can take this instead of spending time with the family, you know?
What are you guys saying?
I think a lot of my time is kind of what can we do next with this kind of thing, even when I'm alone and stuff. But for me, I think our family's always had a thing we eat dinner together.
Right.
So I think that has always been a consistent thing. Obviously nowadays it's a little bit less just because I'm
what a bad
doing
boy.
stuff at dinner time or whatever, you know. But as
Doing podcast stuff.
no, not even podcast, just things in general, right?
Right.
I might be getting home late, all that kind of stuff. Actually, a lot of time it does tend to be podcast related if I'm out. If I'm out during the week, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if everyone's home, we're all having that moment together.
Amazing.
So that I feel grounds it to some extent. But yeah,
Are you asking how this affects family?
Yeah.
Or
Time
even
with family.
creation and that's
Focusing
space.
on your own growth. Do you feel like that kind of affects the time you spend with your family and all
Oh,
that?
nah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I would say so.
Right.
Because I'm already doing quite a bit as well and working, you know what I mean? And everyone at home got different schedules as well, right? So example, today, I think today everyone is actually home tonight.
nice.
Yeah,
And then you're here, yeah?
nah, I'm actually thinking about it. I'm like, okay, yeah. So Thursday and Friday, everyone is home.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's but then we tend to be recording on the Thursdays or just random days as well. So it is kind of clashing a little bit with everyone's here kind of vibe.
Right.
Yeah. But then it does they know that, you know, I ain't slacking off and doing other things. That's all that matters, really. It's like, even my mom was like, oh, where you going? You know, you ain't trying to eat? I'm like, I'll eat after. You know, I'm going to get home pretty late.
Yeah.
So.
Right. And what about yourself?
For me, it's the same. We all have different schedules. So it's like there'll always only be one, maximum 2 people at home for a given period of time during the day. And there's 5 of us living in that house, 4 of us, I think. So it's like, it's always constant. I think when I did start the podcast, it wasn't something that I was like super open with to my mom, just because I was like, oh, like she's not going to understand the content that we're putting out, you know, African mum and stuff. But then there came a time where it was like, I actually shared with her what we were doing and why I was, you know, out late and I was recording, and then I actually showed her the podcast as well. That's and so I feel cute. Like that was a very important like time and point for me, because then she was able to understand, oh, okay, this is why you're out late. Or, okay, this is what you're doing when you're telling me you're recording. So it's like, we were able to connect in a sense. And I actually didn't realize. Wow. She's always, even though she doesn't understand, she just has it playing sometimes.
Wow. So sorry for all the dirty jokes, Auntie.
No, legit, yeah. But I think that was something that was. I know, yeah, true. I think that was something that was really important for me to actually understand as well. It's like, even though she might not understand the content that I'm putting out there, when you're doing like creative things, even African parents, you know, sometimes they actually don't understand. They're like, well, why can't you just do... Yeah, that's true. Like, all of them. They're like, you know, why can't you just do like a normal job? Even though I do work a normal job as well. But it's like, yeah, why are you trying to do this thing? Because they don't understand that. They don't understand like YouTube. They don't understand podcasting or any of that. But like literally the turning point, I was like, just tell her what you're doing, you know, just show her what you're doing. And she'll actually see that this is something that I enjoy. Right. And then now it's kind of like, that disconnect has disappeared. I actually like was able to bridge that gap where it's like, I'm doing this, you don't understand it, but I was like, you know what, let me try and fill you in even if you don't fully get it. And so yeah, I feel like the bridge has been gapped. So that has really, really helped in terms of like us being able to connect and get to know each other and stuff.
Bro, my brain went, what?
Yeah, Mom said the bridge has been gapped. I'm like, wait,
that's not how it works. The gap has been bridged.
The gap has been
Okay,
yeah, my bad.
But that means she's very accepting,
yeah,
but
sure, which is
you still
nice.
have to invest a lot of time to, you know, to do this kind of stuff.
And that's what I realized. If I'm going to be away throughout the entire night, because sometimes we're here till 11, 12, I have to, you know, explain that and tell her why. Yeah.
Right.
I think, one thing in terms of family, especially with to be honest, both my parents, but more so my dad, is like doing this kind of creative stuff. I had to prove that I'm not forgetting all the other stuff in life. You know, like I like constantly like have to be like, yo, I'm on top of this thing, I'm on top of that thing. I'm like, and I involve more so my dad with a lot of things in life, like not like I don't need the hand to hold, but it's just like, yo, just so you're at peace of mind. Like I'm not just going to industry events and recording podcasts and forgetting about the whole life that I want to, you know, pattern up for myself. But it's like, I think that keeps them at peace as well. Like,
for sure.
Oh, Sunday killed me, man. Because outside of me ever like being away on a trip or something like that, the Sunday that just passed for Ego was like the first Sunday that I missed just for like, I'm doing my own thing. Like if I'm on a trip, understandable, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. For church, sorry, for church. Yeah. So I missed church,
They would have questioned you back.
Oh man, I was having a convo with my convo and a half, man. Like shit. Because I even wanted to borrow the car, it became a whole thing, and then she's like standing at the door of my room.
One of these ones, you know what I mean? Man. They love it. They
just
love
told me like, you know, just make sure you don't forget this. You know, this is the
cornerstone.
Cornerstone. The same cover on the way here, bro.
On Sunday.
I'm telling like, Mom, is what? I'm there every week, bro. I'm there every week. You know, we're doing our thing there, but like. It is, it's funny that you can probably almost never fully explain or expect them to grasp everything. Right. But you kind of have to prove to them that like, nah, but don't worry, like this is still held down.
Well, it's because they value time and they want to spend time with you. You know, that's how parents are. They want to spend time with you, know what you're doing. But with what's happening right now with their innovation and you know technology, that's what's separating us from family. You know what I mean? And I'm still trying to figure out how we're gonna still have that whole family thing within the future, right? With this tech, even like kids and their tablets. Have you guys seen it? You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know how to feel about it. I mean, it teaches them as well, and then but it separates them.
If they're on brain training, cool, whatever. You know what I mean, or whatever that game was back in the day. But if you're just watching YouTube, big man,
for me, it's not in that. I hate when it's a substitute for parenting.
And that's the case. That's what's happening right now.
For parenting, but then it's like I hate that at all ages. I hate when when kids are put into sport just because the parent doesn't want to parent them, as opposed to like putting them in a sport because the kid might be passionate about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So and it happens across all ages. But yeah, like I see what you mean. It's tough with technology because you can also utilize it to bring your family together more. You know what I mean? Like picture how dope it could be in 10 years or whatever, and you're playing like FIFA with your kids. You know what I mean? As opposed to like, oh, we have an hour tonight, we're gonna play FIFA together.
Right.
You know, and then wrap it up.
Like when we played Mario Party on the Switch, the whole fam goes crazy on there, right?
Okay.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing to balance, to be honest. Right?
What about you? What was the support system in your family like?
In terms of
what it is that you're currently doing?
Oh yeah. Well, a lot of the things that I'm doing is because I saw my parents doing this stuff. Like my mom with clothing and stuff like that. Like I told you, she used to make sure we're dressed in a certain way. And she even ran her business in Africa, even here as well. She's been doing business. My dad's the same. But when I went out and did my own thing, for some reason, they didn't understand it, right? They didn't understand I actually got...
No, I got this from you.
Yeah, exactly. That's the case. Yeah, usually that's the case. So there wasn't really a lot of support, but I didn't really care much about it either. Like I told you, it's always about going on my own pace. You know, people are going to catch up, and if they don't, if they do, you know, good, whatever. But it's all about just working, you know, on my own pace and stuff like that. The support was not really like extremely there. My mom, sometimes, you know, she was a little bit understanding of what's going on. That's why she'd buy me gadgets like laptop and stuff like that for me to keep going and doing. Yeah, exactly, and doing what I'm doing. But yeah, it's not like extreme, and I don't need that extreme support for me to actually believe in myself and get things done, you know? It's kind of like, do I want to get it done? If I do, let me go ahead and just do it, you know?
Yeah. It is interesting. Like they do end up coming around when you can start proving something is coming from it.
Yeah, you know, do you feel like you have to constantly prove yourself?
Nowadays, no, not at all. Like, it's like I was explaining to my dad like how ego went, and, like the people we chatted to, and all that kind of stuff. And like even before that, like he was fully on board with it. Like, he's been on board since. I mean, he lets us use his offices.
Yeah.
Now, Maxim, do you have like this deep-rooted feeling that you have to impress your parents or like prove something to them? Say, hey, look, I'm doing something with myself. Do you feel that way?
Not that, but I always feel like I have to not disappoint them. In like.
So you don't necessarily have to fully understand it, but it's like
let me just not embarrass you in these streets.
So you're like living to a certain expectation, right?
It's not even that, like, because there's no expectation that's been put on, but it is like I think it's just a
for
cultural
given
respect
to you kind of thing.
Yes, because of what has been given to me and what they've blessed me with, and like what they've sacrificed in order for me to be able to
do
be
this,
me,
to be recording and talking smack
like
for hours.
I'm
plus.
like, all right, like let me not be a dropkick for your sake, and my sake, but but yeah. So it's not like like I'm living up to this expectation, but it's more like, hey, I want to make you proud.
Right. Makes sense.
There would actually be no other point in time in history where you're like, because let's think about it. At a certain point in time, kids, right? And I mean, there's a bunch of parents even right now that like expect their kids to be like paying rent at home and stuff like that. Like my parents don't. I'm blessed that they don't. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. You know what I mean? But I know a lot of people, like their parents expect them to like at a certain age. All right, you're doing this now. I expect you to be paying rent for the house. You're living here, X, Y, Z, whatever. You need to be paying for this. No other point in time in history would we be able to take productive time away from, let's say, picking up an extra night shift to literally sit down and talk for almost 2 hours about something that we believe the rest of the world is interested in hearing about. You know what I mean? There's no other point in time in history that this would be a viable thing to do.
True.
Like back then, whenever, let's take it as far back as we can. Let's say when everyone was farmers and that, right? Yeah, there's no time for you to be sitting down having convo with your friend. You're meant to be, bro, you better go milk that cow with us, bro.
Are you sure they didn't have leisure? You know, like we'd sit down in a group in a circle and, you know, have stories around
100% leisure and story time and things like that. But like, let's say,
because that's what this is, basically like a bonfire, you know, like.
I can see that,
That more people are
if you're gonna bring back in the days, you also gotta factor in technology and everything as well.
That's true.
What I'm saying about like this though is like the amount of time and effort that we put into this. Like, let's say even me during work hours, sometimes doing a sneaky, let me edit the episode or edit this clip. It's like, there was a point in time I was like, bro, you need to be about this or else we're not going to eat. Like, you need to The family needs you to do this. The family needs you to
Work
do
dynamic has changed a lot.
Work
as
dynamic
well.
is switched
Do you feel
up.
like we're doing more nowadays because of technology? We're doing more than they used to do back in those days. Life was a little simpler in terms of, you know, what you have to do. Like you're saying, you're at work and you're doing two things at
Yeah.
once, right? Then you have a focus on one thing. Even relationships as well, right? Here you can be in a relationship and you're on your phone, you're going through someone else's relationship at the same time, right? It's like, well, in two different, we're disconnected. We're in two different places at once. But back in the days, it's just like you're doing one thing and that's your focus point.
I think there's more options now because you're choosing to do that. But there's more options in terms of like, you don't actually have to just work. You get what I mean? There's options in terms of like, I actually like this area, so I'm going to work and also do this. Oh, I like podcasts and fashion. I'm going to do work, fashion and podcasts, right?
Yeah.
Whereas then it's like, that wasn't really an option.
Pick your path.
It was literally
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you're working, and you're going to stick.
But don't you think there's someone out there back in those days who was like, this is not life. I'm not going to do this.
Yeah,
Right?
100%.
There's always that
I mean,
person.
that's probably where the artists came from.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? The people that were painting. Everyone else
Exactly.
is working.
They're like,
nah, bro, you better give me that sea urchin dye. Let me try to paint this thing.
Literally,
right now.
in every part in history,
Yeah.
there's those group of
there's
people
that.
that
Yeah,
don't
true.
want to, you know.
And those are the people that get remembered, to be honest.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, you think Plato was cool at his time? Plato was definitely not cool. But then now it's
And
like,
then just
ooh,
Now
that
everyone
quote.
plays, yeah.
Wow. Bro, everyone's probably like, oh, not that
Yeah, we don't exactly.
talking these ideas again on the
Exactly.
corner. Like, shut up, bro.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think it makes complete sense. But I think it's also they kind of have to force themselves to come up with something, whereas now you don't have to force; it's there.
It's there, yeah.
You get, I mean, now you just want to participate in that.
What do you mean by that? Like, what's there?
So, example like podcast. Okay, I know the platform is there. Now, do I want to do a podcast? Right? This I know that's there.
Compared
Do I
to being
want
the
So you don't
person
have to
who
create-
creates
you don't
a
have to go
podcast.
over there and try to
Create
sit
it.
over there like, okay, what can I do? Because do you get what I mean?
But you guys created this, right?
We
Yeah.
created that, but that platform was already there.
Like in
Podcasting
terms of
was a
like,
thing already.
so I see what you're saying in terms of like, all right, back then or whenever then was, we always say that. I love how everyone understands when
Yeah.
then was.
Then.
No one knows when then
Right,
is.
right.
But like, all right, before podcast was a thing, or before content creation was
Radio
a
was a
thing,
thing,
before
let's
radio
say.
was a thing, there was always the people or the pioneers who were like, yeah, we need this expression, we need this medium to do this. But now all of these mediums are all there and everyone is jumping into it now. So we're not having to spend so much time
Thinking
in terms
about
of creating what's the next thing. We're kind of deciding, how do I do the same thing as everyone else in a different way, almost kind of thing.
Right.
So like we're all doing a lot of
Yeah.
similar things, but in like slightly different ways. So
Yeah, let me give you like an example of an innovation, right? I don't really like this whole like and comment thing. What if we just do streaming where you just find someone doing something live, right? In terms of podcasts, you don't have to worry about your rating and all that kind of stuff.
Just
Someone's
very
just going to
happening.
find you. You live, right? So they must have thought about things like this back in the days as well. So for me, I'm saying like even at this point in time, there's places we can innovate,
still
right?
be able to go for sure.
It's like
Yeah.
everyone's just working for those likes and comments, but what if everything was just live stream? Everything was just live stream, right? People just watching you in real time. They're just tuning in and out through, you know, different channels.
Or like, I mean, this is probably just what YouTube is, but like our episode is just on constant loop on a certain platform, and you can like some people, you jump in whenever, but I'm like, that's also just probably
But
YouTube.
not everyone's on that wave though.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
If it was a normal thing, you just pick up your phone, you look at something live is happening somewhere around the world, and you only get to see it for that moment in time, then it goes, you know, it disappears just like a real interaction. It doesn't last forever. Instead of, you know,
This might be a new platform, bro.
yeah, you know, collecting these pictures and creating this
Yeah,
false
whole
image
kinda-
or whatever it might be.
It's
You know what I mean?
almost like, something club. What was that app?
Or
The one you
Clubhouse?
listen-
Clubhouse.
Clubhouse.
Oh,
But
the-
that's audio,
Yeah.
where you can only jump in and actually listen to live audio. People
That's
actually
amazing.
Conversations
Yeah.
there.
Of
Just conversations.
Real
You know,
time.
you can't record that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
There's this thing in China because I'm pretty sure there's no Facebook or
Yeah,
YouTube. Yeah, they come down here in the city and they're holding these sticks, right? And they're like, I'm live. And there's like 1,000 or 11K people watching and they're just walking around, you know? It's a streaming app in China, but like that approach to social media.
Making it a bit more social.
Yeah.
now.
Exactly. And, different in the sense of you can talk to a wider audience, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't have to do all these little things where you have to cut this, cut that out. You're just having a normal, genuine conversation, you know? So,
In line with your convo of are we doing things a lot more things now? I think people were definitely doing less things then, and like they were focused on that kind of like singular thing
They
or
were
one or
doing
two
them
things.
less efficiently.
damn it, man! I wanted to hit the button. sorry. So I feel like we are doing a lot more things now, but our productivity of them or how viable or fruitful these things are is not necessarily as great as it can or should be.
Yeah.
One, because maybe we jump in and out of things a lot.
Yep.
Our attention to things is a lot less.
Yep.
Because people are doing something then, and the only reason they're doing it is because it's working and it's bringing something in for them, and it makes sense, right? But now we're in a time where things don't necessarily have to make sense, but we do it because we just like it. Right?
You guys are talking about the trends, yeah?
Yeah. So no, it's not necessarily fruitful. Like we can be doing this podcast for the longest, right? Let's say we do, God forbid, but let's say we do it another 2 years and nothing at all comes. At the same level, nothing's coming from it, but we continue to do it because we like it.
Yeah.
Bro, if my great grandpa will be looking at this like, bruv,
let it go. Let it go.
After episode 3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, that's the time we're in more now. Like things aren't necessarily as productive as they can be or fruitful as they can be. Well, we are doing a lot more opportunities to do things. But I think that's the
crux.
Nah, not necessarily. That's the give and take that we have now. You know what I mean? Then it was maybe you can't necessarily do what exactly you would love to do or what you like, how you'd like to express yourself. But the take from that is that, okay, but it's providing this.
Yeah.
Now,
so
now the take is we can do what we like. We have a lot more opportunities to express, but the give is like, how productive is this necessarily?
Right.
How much is this really bringing in? Or
But at the end of the day, it's how much time you invest in anything, right? Like,
for sure.
if you guys invest a lot of time in doing this, 2 years, like you were saying,
you're
it's going to turn into something. 100%.
Or we're doing it so bad. Like, if we can't in that time, like, how bad do we have to
our ability.
That is not physically possible. I'm telling you, man. No, the neurons in your brain tend to always create new pathways and find new ways to innovate, right?
That's true.
And then out of nowhere, something just happens. Like, I was just taking pictures, guys, like on Instagram. I didn't know that it was going to turn into anything.
Yeah.
But because of the consistency and the investment of time, it turned into something. So no matter what you do, it's going to grow if you invest the time. True. And that's why people don't realize the value of time, right? You see, if you put some time into it, it will definitely grow no matter what it is. It can be something positive or negative. We're talking about the whole trendy people and like, well, like short term and the longevity. They still work because they're all putting in time. You know what I mean? Yeah. Time is always, the reward.
These days, everyone just gives up quick because they don't see results. You know what I mean?
Because what? They're comparing themselves online.
Yeah.
That's why they don't see results.
Yeah. It's also because everyone just jumps on whatever. Like, recently everyone's saying like you get a bunch of 5 guys, they come together, they're like, yep, we're going to start a podcast. Yep, let's do a podcast. And then it never lasts, because it's like everyone's like, oh yeah, podcast. The idea of a podcast is so nice to people. But then once you actually start to see the work that gets put in, the late hours that you have to put in, like you actually have to have substance to your conversations, And then that's why a lot of people end up dropping out because it's like, they had this idea of what it was going to be like. And that's like with fashion as well. That's like with music as well, You had this idea that's like, oh yeah, I want to be on stage. Oh yeah, I want to do a catwalk, People are going to see my clothes. But then when you actually get into that field and you see all the preparation and all the hard work that goes in behind it, like you start to see the ones who actually have the passion for it. Because if you don't have the passion for it, you're not going to last in something at all.
For sure.
It's just going to be a season type of thing.
Yeah,
exactly.
So,
You got to know your reason. You got to know your why. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And you figure it out as you go too. Sometimes you'll be like, I know it, but then it gets deeper and deeper the longer that you do it, right?
For sure.
And I respect what you're saying about that. And that's why I respect everyone in that profession. You know what I'm saying? The fact they've put in the time, they've done the boring, what people call boring grind, which is behind the scenes, right? Constantly picking up on things they could do better and all that kind of stuff. And that's why I love creative directing, because it's bringing people with different skills together in one room and presenting that and showcasing that. That's the part that I actually enjoy the most.
That's amazing.
Crazy, man.
I'm actually keen to the show, bro. Keen to go.
Hey man, you come through. March 20th on a Sunday, 6:30.
Hey, let's go.
This will be up before it, so that's
The Royal Melbourne Hotel.
Ooh.
What's that one?
So it's the less vibe venue.
Oh yeah.
Across the road from Southern Cross Station, like right across the road.
Yeah.
Right across the road from Southern Cross Station.
Dope, man.
2 hours, yeah.
2 hours.
No, you gotta fit everything in 2 hours.
Hey man, 2 hours is a long time, you know what I mean? So if you break it down and you see how the show goes, because I'm pretty sure you guys saw the runway shows for the ego thing, right? You saw how quick that happened, right?
God, you're right.
You know what I mean? So if you really look at time and you break it down, there's a lot that you can do within 2 hours. And if you space it out, obviously don't make it too complex where it's messy.
Yeah.
You don't want it to be a circus, a circus show.
For sure.
Yeah, so everything's all arranged. So yeah, for sure. It's all about managing time and making
What are you looking forward to the most out of that? Or what do you want people to experience when they come check that out?
A movie.
Okay.
A
Great
movie.
Gatsby vibes or what kind of movie? Now that we're back here.
Great Gatsby, not yet. You know what I mean? That's an expensive set. You know what I mean?
I'll leave that suit at her.
No, bring the suit. 'Cause we've got suits on the runway, so I'm going to be in a suit myself, right?
nice.
So for sure, but I'm just expecting people to like have a movie experience, basically, not just a fashion show, the basic runway. You don't really know what's going on. It's just people walking up and down. I don't like that. You know what I mean? I want to kind of change that and innovate it. It's all about innovation for me, especially because we're in the age of innovation because technology, right? So innovating fashion in the way it's presented, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. See how that looks like.
Yeah, for sure.
It's going to look unexpected, most definitely, you know?
I'm expecting this now.
He'll deliver.
So we got to get tickets and all that.
Yeah, through my bio, obviously. Yeah, event, buy it. Easy, quick and easy. I actually created a QR code, and I didn't know you had to do like it was a trial, like a 2-week trial.
Oh, no.
I'm like, oh damn! I thought you could just make a free QR code. You know what I mean? But
There should be some way. The one we used was free as well. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we might have to.
all right, link me up after this for sure.
I've done the
for
same
sure.
mistake before.
I'm like, damn, man.
People start scanning like, doesn't
What's-
work anymore.
Yeah,
Bro.
exactly. I'm losing a bunch of people through that, but
That's cool.
we've got some amazing acts coming in. Even like people like to use social media as a form to verify if the act is real or not. So we do have some verified artists coming down. Blue tick, everything.
Can you say who or no? Not yet.
Not yet, not yet. Yeah.
Cool.
So we do have some verified artists coming
Yeah.
through.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's dope.
That's awesome.
Sick, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
they're all about the that craft.
All right, man. Hey, we all got families, like we're saying. The
Yeah.
time is. We got people to hit up.
No worries,
I wanted to
guys.
say though, man, praise the people in is it Queensland now and
Queensland.
a bit of New South Wales, bro. I didn't realize how crazy things were
it's
getting.
very
bro.
bad.
Yeah, I didn't realize how
I just found out
crazy
today.
things were getting, bro. Like
Yeah.
the flooding.
I heard
did
about
not
that.
realize it was that wild.
Very
Like the
bad.
videos I'm seeing, I'm like, yo, because they send out I saw someone put up the screenshot of like, flood warning in Queensland. I was like, oh, okay. Like I didn't pay as much
That it was
attention
gonna
on
be
mine
like
to it,
that.
right? And then I saw what was going on. I even have a homie up in he's in Sunshine, but I think he's like moving around a bit. He's like going on boats to deliver food and that to people and
Yeah,
that.
no, it's real.
It's real, yeah. It's real.
Like water's up to here in people's houses.
So, yeah, I
So
mean,
the traffic
there's
lights.
there's always
the
people
top
who
ones.
try to bring out the comical side of things like
The
those.
guy in the house.
Yeah, the guy in the house.
I loved it.
What was the video?
He's on his computer and he's like, "Oh, I left the dishes in the dishwasher." Gets up from his set,
just
running through water.
everywhere.
It's like, what the
Wow.
Just running through like chest waist deep kind
Is
of
this the
water.
first time this ever happened, or?
Nah, it happens a lot, but
When I
like,
first moved here as well.
yeah, like the flooding happens a lot in like especially Queensland. But like every time it happens, I'm just like, damn, bro.
Because I lived in Queensland for 5 years, and
Nothing?
nothing, yeah.
I think certain
Maybe it
areas-
happened in different areas,
Yeah,
exactly.
certain
Yeah.
areas for sure. I think like
And I was disconnected too from like the outside world. Yeah,
nah,
I
I
think
think
it's
like
more that region of like northern Sydney, like it's not even Sydney, northern New South Wales, and that
like that
bordering part of south of
southeast and that.
Queensland.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, man. But yeah,
There
praise
is,
the people up there,
praise
man.
for sure.
yeah. Praise
Sure,
to
for
them.
sure. But thank you so much for
Yes,
coming.
Yeah,
through.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.
Thank you for
I
having
hope you
me.
enjoyed the time.
Definitely did. I definitely
Yeah.
did. I'm looking forward to having another conversation sometime in the future
Sure.
and seeing what you guys are up to. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
Nah, definitely.
Keep up the great work, guys.
What would you
Guys,
like, what would you like to plug? Where can people find you? All that kind of stuff.
tickets.
Yeah,
Find me on Instagram at Herve Levine. That's HerveLevine. And tickets are in my bio. We've got an event happening on March 20th on a Sunday. It starts at 6:30 sharp. Everyone will be seated during the event, so the earlier you come, the better. And it finishes at 8:30. Then there's an after party straight after that, 30 minutes later. And so it's going to be an amazing night. And unexpected acts and all that, because we're approaching the fashion industry in a different form, in a different way, because I believe in innovation.
sick.
That's dope. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to our things too, because we need it. All right. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Disruption
you.
Podcast. We'll catch you guys next week. Peace out.
Yes, sir.
Laters. Peace.
Amazing.
How was that?
Thank you.